I'm doing pretty well. My back's pretty good. Watching several things on YouTube today. For Bobby, yes, I'm watching all that every day. I really hammered one guy today. He says, gold's going to crash. So I go into that video. And of course, he's a Keynesian, MMT type of guy, talking about all this bullshit. Who the hell knows? And he, well, let's show you what I did. So I went into this moron. Here it is.
Do you want to try that survival food you keep seeing on Facebook, but you don't want to sacrifice? Has been crashing.
Gold price crash. It's coming. Some idiot. So he starts talking. God only knows what he's talking about. Here's a good comment. If gold, I'll just read them to you. If gold goes to 1,200 per Henrik, silver will be $10. That does not sound realistic. Teaser King. Paper gold is not the real physical price, moron. Yes, I say moron. See, again, he's talking paper. And I'm so sick of that these morons don't understand the difference. Or if they think that COMEX is the real physical price, then they're even stupider than I thought. Now, I'm sure that's my INFJ coming out. Now I come up with this line. Take your time to read it. You notice how I get Keynesian in there. And why do I do that? I do that because I want to spell out the difference between Austrians and Keynesians, because we're Austrian, right? We believe in free markets and freedom and solid money and solid governments and, no interference, no monopolies. People like you are the problem. You're clueless and lying to people. Why do you mislead everyone? We've been in a recession for a year. He doesn't think we're in a recession. You guys should be ashamed of these videos, Keynesians. Then I go here. And I go, what the fuck are you talking about 1,200? It's not going down. It's going to go up. And it says more, so I will read it. $1,200 laugh out loud gold headed to 30,000, the real physical prices. I'll bet this guy anything, not 1,200. I'll bet this guy anything, not 1,200. Oh my, that doesn't go to 1,200. Oh my God, this guy does this professionally. Avoid at all costs. Keynesians and MRT are communists. Avoid. So what I'm doing is my INFJ, which I'm saying, don't listen to this guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. If you're listening, this guy actually has some, he's selling his services. Don't listen to this moron. There's a new one. I'll tell you this much, silver can't go down enough to scare me into panicking and selling my little stash of silver if I lose everything. If I lose everything, it's not enough to freak out. If it goes way down, I will just buy more. If I had the money to buy a big amount of silver, it would all be gone before I could get enough to matter. I'm cool if I can get a bit, that would be nice, but as he said, we have an economy that is strong. I was out. As soon as he said, this guy's a Keynesian or a communist, but everybody understands that. All these people are saying the same thing. As soon as he said we have an economy that's strong, I'm laughing at the 1200. If gold goes to 1200, so the wisest thing that should be on everyone's mind currently should be to invest different income statement. Well, that's bullshit. Remind me to buy gold at 1200. A technical bear market was already achieved without a recession. It was already down or whatever. As I recall, he made the same sort of wild prediction a few years back. None of it came true. So everybody's sitting there, and I'm glad that they're all understanding this guy's an idiot. I'm like going, why the fuck are you having this guy on? It doesn't make sense. So this is my morning. I'm when I see something like this, gold price to crash, I immediately know we're talking derivative gold and paper gold. And so I immediately know it's all that this guy doesn't understand what he's doing, because there's no derivative gold. First of all, it will never crash. It'll never go to 1200. Secondly, we don't care about derivative paper gold. We care about physical gold. We're the ones buying the gold. So when I hear this, I just sit there and just laugh at this idiot. All right, let's see. What other fun stuff did I have today? So here's one. Car dealers are going out. Well, I've told you that before. So what I'll give you the real easy version. Prices. So the way he explained it in the video is the dealers actually buy the cars. So the cars sitting on a lot of a Ford dealer are paid for, right? And then they're trying to sell them for profit. Just like a grocery store buying my beloved Canadian Club. Kroger's buys this and then sells it, right? And they get it cheap because they buy it wholesale. It's like baseball cards or things like that. You buy them and then you try to sell them. So Ford dealers the same way. They're buying the Fords at whatever, then they're trying to sell it to us. Well, again, Ford being idiots, mostly Keynesians, very clueless company. Don't understand interest rates. They don't understand the economy. They don't understand. I was in a meeting where it was like a whole, I don't know, all hands on deck type of bullshit. They think they're in the Navy. And the guy, the CEO, no, it's a CFO. No, it's a CEO. It was Fields, Mark Fields, a Romanian guy who's clueless, sits there and says, I don't know why stock prices go up. You're running the company. Your only goal is to increase shareholders' value. And the only way you do that is to get the stock price up. And you're telling the world on a TV interview and all hands, you don't know why stock prices go up. I sat there and laughed my ass off. Said, fuck, I should be running this company. They're fucking clueless. They don't know why. Well, it's because future earnings. It's about earnings. Is my earnings going to go up will make my share price go up, because people won't want to buy because it's supply and demand. And I'm in a marketplace where 1 million companies are on the stock exchange. And I'm sitting there going, I can buy Microsoft, I can buy Amazon, I can buy Newmont Mining Gold, I can buy Coca-Cola and Disney. What do I want to buy? Oh, Ford. Yeah. Well, they don't know how to make profit. Probably won't buy that stock. How anybody buys it's beyond me. It's more your your Hathaways and your Vanguards, people that buy big companies who are clueless. So anyway, so he's sitting there going, okay, these have been on the lot for 90 days. They paid X for it, and nobody wants them. So they're going to lose their ass because now interest rates are higher. Now they don't have the clue. They think when the Fed raises interest rates on houses and cars go up, which is not true. When the Fed raises interest rates, it's the FX rate to other countries and other banks. It's the Fed raising it to JP Morgan, Chase, Comerica, Wells Fargo, to England and France. And now that's this Fed funds rate. It's on the Fed funds, right? So keep that in mind. It's not on cars and houses and credit cards. It is nothing to do with that. But by raising the rates, what you're saying is you're strengthening the dollar, therefore inflation should come down. Therefore, the interest rate on a car should actually go down, because if there's less inflation, the interest rates would drop, because you're not afraid that the dollar you're lending out is going to be worth 5 cents in a year. So they are a dynamic correlation. I know I threw a big word at you, dynamic. They're a correlation of what really it is. So the Feds are raising interest rates means we're going to try to stop the inflation by making the dollar more expensive and hopefully bringing back dollars into the government, into the banks, and out of the economy. That's what they're trying to do, but it's not working. They're not raising it. The inflation is 20% and you're raising it 0.25%. So therefore, the question with the car dealership is the inflation still there, right? If the inflation is still there, they're going to charge more for the car, and that's what they're doing. So when obviously everybody realizes that, except for this idiot, he doesn't understand that. So the cars are going up. The interest rate's going up, making it more costly. Who the fuck wants to buy a Ford, period? But who wants to buy one, a $50,000 Ford that would cost you $700, I guess, in a 7-year loan is now $1,000 in a 7-year loan for a Ford. Who the hell wants that? So people aren't buying it. As I said, it's a marketplace. This is the beauty of the free market, not communism. In communism, you'd have one Russian car, which you'd have the Mercedes, and you'd have the Ivan Koloff. You'd have the Sergei Fedorov car, and you'd have the Mercedes. And all the mafia buy the Mercedes, and the rest of the people take the bus and the subway, and a few people actually buy the Sergei Fedorov car. Okay, that's communism. Here, at least we have a free marketplace. If you want a Mercedes, you want a Ferrari, if you want a Porsche, if you want a Ford, a GM, a Toyota, whatever you want, you have competition for, which is the other thing, right? So I can go to Toyota. I don't have to go to Ford. And if Toyota is cheaper and I need a car, I'm going to buy a Toyota, not the Ford car. So keep that in mind also of what I want to do. So with these higher interest rates, there's no demand for it. So therefore, why would I want to buy a car? So that's what he means when he says car dealerships are going out of business, because they don't get it, and they bought all this inventory, which they never should have bought, not able to forecast that interest rates are going up, and if my prices are going to have to go down, and if I can't get it cheaper, I shouldn't buy it. They shouldn't have any. They should have 5 cars on the lot, because they can't afford it, because it's just like a house. You got to pay the mortgage, you got to pay the property taxes, you got to pay the utilities, even if nobody's living there. So BlackRock's getting killed by nobody renting the houses. Morning, Nick, or good afternoon, Nick. Just hoping on quick. Went to card show. Oh, okay. Went to card show and got a PSA 10 Burrow rookie, 100 with a couple of other cards traded. Okay, well, I mean, again, you're buying the card graded. $100. Was it numbered? Was it out of 50 or 100 or something like that? I've been looking on eBay because I'm pulling my cards out just to recheck the values because I know they change. And I'm seeing a lot of Burrow rookies at a very good price, PSA 10s. But, the score rookie or the tops rookie or whatever it is. Special edition. Does it give you, now I like that it's a refractor. Does it give you the quantity? Does it say out of 100 or out of 200 or is it not at all? But a refractor is normally more limited and more prized. When I look at certain cards, refractors, they seem to have a much bigger value because they're cool cards. They're good. So let me know if you got a number on it. Any other questions or comments? You buying your silver before it goes ballistic? We'll see what happens with that, but not serial, but was okay with that. Looking to get more numbered ones on eBay or next show. Well, what you should do is when you go to the shows, try to get like a good rookie card that is not graded, and you'll get it really cheap unless you're just so against taking that extra step to get the card graded. That's where, like my Montana rookie, I probably paid $50 for, maybe $100, and it's in mint condition, right? And so, yes, I need to get it graded. But back when I bought it, it was early 90s. They didn't even have grading yet. But that's how you'll get the best value for your money. Now, yes, if you don't want to go to PSA and get it graded, pay the money, I understand that. But that's really where you'll make your most money from a economic standpoint. As I got my econ hat on, I want to get the card not graded, but I can grade it myself. I can look at the corners are perfect, the centering's perfect. It looks like it looks like a real nice card. Now I'll get it graded as a 10, and I'll buy it for $10 and sell it for $1,000. That's kind of the idea, as I show you on my 82 Montana and 82 Peyton that are like $900 that I bought for $5. Not a lot of upgrading of ungraded rookies at these shows. Almost all rookies are graded I've seen. Sometimes it takes too long to go through those $1 boxes where you find not for a Burrow or Mahomes or guys like that. They should be out on their, they're not in the $1 boxes. So if a typical dealer has his table set up and he's got his cards laid out, he's going to have his Burrow rookie out there for $20 or $30 or something like that. So you shouldn't have to go through that. You should just say, do you got any Burrow rookie? If he's got football, do you have any Burrow rookies? And I'm sure he'll go right there, but I'm sure they'll be on the table because he's going to want to show a Burrow or Mahomes rookie. Like I said, I got the Mahomes 50 count at, I think it was at Foot Locker. It was like a shoe. It was like a sports little store in the mall, wasn't the normal place you would look for cards, but they had the card. It was 50 count. He wanted $50 for it, and I pulled it out of it was magnetic ties. I pulled it out. The card looks gem mint to me, and I gave him the $50. I stumbled on it, but usually you can ask. If they got football, they're going to have Burrow and the Mahomes rookies, even though they're not graded. They want to keep in mind they're sellers, right? Let me read your stuff now and get into that thought. It's so funny. Everyone wants Herbert, Lance, SBA 10s because of just hype. They won't be very good. Exactly. Why does Lance have any value? And then I'm noticing Trevor Lawrence with a little value, and I'm just laughing my ass off. For that, just look at the Lamar Jackson cards. They have no value. Look at the Marino cards. They have no value. Same thing with everyone going, well, let them go. Right. Now, to take you back that step, what you have is a seller, right? Why is he at the card show? Because he needs money. So he wants to sell his inventory. Like God knows I need to go because I got so many cards. I'll be dead for 10 years before if I tried selling them all. So I'm going through the higher ones that I want to get graded and sell so I can buy more gold and survive. So he is going to put the graded cards on his table because they get him the most money, right? So if I put out a PSA 9 Bobby Orr and a Jordan and a Larry Bird and a Mahomes, whatever, like I would put the Mahomes 50 count on the table, and I would charge $2,000 for it, and they'd go, "It ain't graded." I go, "It's a 10, and go get it graded. You'll probably get 20,000 for it." So those are the cards I would put out are the most expensive cards. But my Jordan Hoops cards that are all worth $300 that I see, PSA 10s, probably aren't going to be on the table. They're going to probably be in a box. Jordan. And I'm gonna put a little thing on it. These are Jordans and Birds and Magics, and these are the football cards. Here's Montana and Rice and Walter Payton, and then I'm gonna put another box of hockey. Here's Gretzky, Lemieux, Yeager, Roy, and then Waugh, and then I'll have a basketball. Here's LeBron, and here's Dwayne Wade, and Jordan and that. So that's what I would do. Baseball, I'd only have Bobby Bo on it. That would be my only card in the box would be Bobby Bo. So that's what I would do as a seller. But if you ask me, hey, I want to see the Joe Burrows, I'm going to know exactly. I'm going to say, here they are. Now, a lot of guys in the dollar boxes, but they're going to have other boxes. They're going to have the higher, the rookie boxes or something, and they'll be alphabetized. At least that's the way they used to be. So you could just go to the B's and you'll pull up 10 Burrows. So it shouldn't take you more than 2 minutes to find the Burrows or to ask the question, I'm looking for a Burrow rookie that's not graded, and he'll know exactly where it will take you 2 minutes to go through them. And you're just looking for gem mints. Now, will he bring his gem mints versus his, near mints? It's a little off center. It's a little bit stained. That's what you got to be careful with. But more than likely, the Burrows now are going to be gem mints because they're not going to be way off center like the 86 flares that the basketball they're all off center. I don't think I could find one that was actually perfectly centered. Still debating on waiting or buying a high value Mahomes soon. It's just check the price. If it's limited, if it's graded, can you get a good price on it? And always ask, what's the best price? That's your comeback to the dealer. It'll be marked, and then you'll say, well, what's your best price on it? And then he'll come back with the best price. Now, if he says that's my best price, you walk around the room and see if that card's there and what the price is with other dealers. And then maybe he's got the best price, maybe he doesn't. Or you can say, well, Joe over there has got it, it's a $300 Mahomes card, and say, what's your best price? He doesn't budge. Say, well, Joe's got it for $250. I'll go buy it from him. And as you walk away, he'll go, no, wait a minute. No, I can do $250. Again, he has to sell. That's why he's there. He's paid for the table to sell because he needs the money. And if he needs the money, the difference between needing the money and don't need the money. Not too many of us don't need the money. So he's going to want your $250 on a $300 card. And especially if you say, well, that dealer over there's got it, or a dealer on the other side had it for $250. I'm just pricing around. I just got here. I'm pricing around. You give them a song and a dance, and then they'll more than likely meet your target and want to make the sale. I mean, because he could be there all day and nobody will want it, and you're there, right? You're gonna buy this card. I got a buyer. I'm not gonna let him walk away. Still debate. Okay. Rookie Mahomes selling at $1,500 right now on eBay, PSA 10. Well, it's a lot of money. What's the number? I would want to make sure that card's numbered, right? That card better not be more than a 100 count or 75 count. It better be a low number. At this point, for that money, you want numbered cards. You do not want a regular one, and I would assume it's 100 count or less. And then, well, that's where you go. Do you go to the show or do you go there? Or do you want to buy an ounce of gold that you know is going to go up a lot more? So, how do you feel about it? Not even numbered. If it's not even numbered, it's crazy. I guess if you're on eBay, go to the sold and you go Mahomes rookie, and then filter it to sold and see what the others have gone for. But I think that's a lot. Is it a refractor or what? But see, that's not what you want to do. Yep, went to the sold folder and it was 1,500. Okay, so that's all you're going to get for it. I don't know. My gut is not to do that. My gut is to look for a numbered one, but you have to like the card. It's got to be, you got to look at the card and go, yeah, I mean, you like Mahomes, but you got to it's got to be a pretty card for you. And then I would want to get it cheaper. Now, is it buy it now at 1,500 or is it auction 1,500? Sometimes they'll put a buy it now or take best offer. So if he says take best offer, offer him $1,000. And, if that's what you want, but bids ending around 1,500. Okay, so I don't know why they're stuck on 1,500. And again, as I pointed out, there's many markets, right? He could have 10 of these cars on there, and I'd be shocked if they all ended at 1,500. As I showed you the Jordans, some were 1,000, some were 700. So I would lay off of that card now, especially not being numbered. I would just wait. You're seeing other sold ones, so they're not that limited. I want a limited card. Would rather get more quality Burrow rookie since I love him and hate Mahomes. Well, that too. You got to buy what you want. You got to enjoy it. This is like gold and silver. I enjoy buying them. I enjoy having them. They're beautiful to look at. So, you got to enjoy it too, and you got to buy what you like. So, like I was like that with Jordan because I'm from Detroit, and I liked Isaiah, and then I liked Bird and Magic because they beat him. So I was always a Magic guy over a Bird guy, and then an Isaiah guy. So I did not like Jordan. So that's another reason I didn't get the Jordan rookie card. I really didn't, And at the time I was buying him in the early '90s, he hadn't done anything. He lost the Bird 3 times. He lost Isaiah 3 times. So he was not, a big, Magic and Bird were better. And that's who I would buy. But for some reason, their values never really took off the way they should have. I mean, I got the 86 Flair Bird and Magic, and they're not worth nearly what they should be worth. So I don't really get that, but I don't get why Jordan is so valuable. But there's a lot of bullshit going around. As we see, the fixing in certain stocks that are, because these Vanguard guys and the BlackRocks are throwing money into it, elevating it over market because they're just putting money, or JP Morgan are just dumping money into it. So they're making it higher than it is. But yeah, I mean, you've got to like the card. It's got to look pretty. I would advise trying to get ungraded Burrow rookie cards now because they will be. I saw a couple yesterday, PSA 10s, and they were like $30 graded. Now they're just the scorecard or the tops, the plain Jane cards. But my Montana's tops, and at the time that was it. There was only tops. I got his tops regular rookie card, and it's $100,000 now. Now that I anticipated, I thought. I didn't even buy it for that. I bought it because it was Joe Montana's rookie card. And I didn't buy it as an investment. I bought it as a collectible. Now I got a Montana rookie, and then I bought the Rice rookie. Never in my wildest dreams would I think they'd be worth $100,000. And they both are worth $100,000. And maybe in some auctions you get 90 or 80, and maybe some you get a 120. But I never in my wildest dreams thought that. Appreciate you sharing your advice. Sure, Nick, anytime. Okay, you're welcome, Nick. But that's what I would do is try to buy the non-graded cards, unless it's anytime, unless it's a 25 count, and it's a good price and it's graded, then you want to get it because you only want to buy the ones that you can't get, that are very, very hard to get. Like my Brady, what is it, Topps Chrome Refractor, which I've never seen on eBay. You'll see the Topps Chrome, but you won't see the refractor. And so it's such a hard card to get. That one you might want to buy if you really want it, like the Tris Speaker 1906, that's what, $10 million, because it's good luck finding it. They only made 6 of them. So something like that, that's so limited. Or if you were to find a really strong nano rookie card, PSA 9, that you're never going to find again, those are something that you would pay for and go, yeah, I got something I can't get. Burrow card I like, but I think it might be too much. Well, especially if it's graded to 10. That's the Mahomes card at 1,500. See, that's the Super Bowl effect. So wait on that. That card you'll be able to get for $900 soon. And with the coming depression, see, here's where having gold and silver are going to really help us. That card's going to go down to Mahomes from 1,500. The guy's going to want money, right? And as the dollar becomes worthless, you're going to offer him 2 ounces of silver for it, which you paid $50 for. That's now worth, let's say, $1,000. So silver goes to $1,000 an ounce. You pay 25 for it. He's got the card. You say, I'll give you an ounce of silver for the card. So he gets $1,000 and an ounce of silver, which is worth more than the money. And you get the Mahomes card. Basically, you bought it for $25. So keep that in mind. That's what's coming. Take some money, go buy another 20 ounces of silver at $25. That's all I can say, is that's where it's headed. When they say cash is king, me and Bobby had this conversation yesterday, where silver is going to be king of cash, because it'll be $1,000 and you'll be able to make those purchases all day long, because the people don't have silver and gold because they're Americans and they're not. They just listen to these idiots, and then you're going to walk in and steal these cards for an ounce of silver. So keep that in mind, Nick. And anybody else these are the things. I was talking about the cars, right? The car dealerships are going to close. It's going to be the same thing. They've got the inventory that they're paying for, right? So these guys, let's get back to the Ford dealership. So they got cars on the lot that they're paying for. They're paying interest on, and insurance for the car. So it's costing them money to have these cars on their lot, but nobody's buying because the interest rates are so high. And I doubt there's a lot of demand for Ford, and even less for the electric cars. He also did a piece on Tesla in here, where Tesla keeps lowering their value because nobody's buying it. And that's the whole point of Tesla trying to sell a product that there's no demand for at a price there's way no demand for. So keep that in mind. So that's really where your gold and silver, you'll walk in with maybe a 1/4 ounce of gold, and you can go to the dealership and say, I'll take this car with a 1/4 ounce of gold that you paid $500 for. This is another reason I'm kind of telling you to buy it now. We know the price is low. What do we know? We know the price is low. We know the demand is huge, AKA Mickey Mantle card, a Jordan rookie, Mahomes. We know the demand's there. So if you got the demand, you're going to have the price, because they go hand and foot. Once you have the demand, then the price follows. And if it's not manipulated, the price would go up. So with that said, if you buy it now, okay, why would I buy gold and silver now? The price is low. Will the price go up? What makes price go up? Demand. Is there demand? Yes. Also, what if we run out of supply? Can't get it. What if the price goes up? You can get it, but it's going to cost you a lot more. what's the downside of you buying silver 25 an ounce right now? There's no demand and the price falls and it goes from 25 to 20. Not COMEX price, but physical, right? So your risk is that the $25 silver is $20 or is $10. All right, you lost $15 an ounce momentarily, which cannot happen in the physical world we live in the physical market we live in. Silver cannot go down. So you don't have a risk on it down. Nick's got a risk if he buys this Mahomes rookie at 1,500 that's not graded, that it goes down to 1,000. Nick has risk. It's high because he won the Super Bowl. The only guy buying it's Bobby, because Bobby thinks Mahomes is God. So with Mahomes at 15, he could lose. It could go down to 500. And with the economy crashing, it's probably going to go down, because are people going to be running and buying Mahomes cards, or are they going to be buying food and paying their energy? So it's more volatile, the Mahomes card, than the gold and silver. So the silver is so low that there's really no risk at $25 that it's really going to go down, and even now it's going down. It's paper driving it down, not physical. The physical price is a good $500-$600 at least, if not 1,000, or my prediction of 2. Not even a prediction. It's kind of where it's going. It's where it's heading based on all the dollars printed, and then it won't even be priced in dollars anymore. So that's really where it's at with the prediction. So your risk on a $25 ounce of silver is very, very low. And the upside is you'll be buying Mahomes $1,500 cards with an ounce of it. It goes up to 1,000, and that's minimum of what it'll do. So the odds on it going from 25 to 1,000 are 99%. The odds on it going from 25 to, let's say, 10 are probably 0.00001. And that's only derivative market, not physical. Physical, the odds on it going from 25 to 10 is 0. The odds that it's actually 25 now is 0 once they get JP Morgan out of it. The odds on JP Morgan getting out of it are probably 90%. And the question is it going to be this year or the next when they get out of it? Because they know they're going to lose their ass. If you're betting short on silver and the price spikes, you're fucked. You've lost trillions of dollars. So they want to keep playing this game, but what's happening is Russia and China want the price to go up, are going around this game. So they're making a second game. They're having competition. And JP Morgan has the monopoly with London. And then here's Russia, China going, we don't need you guys. We're going to go buy it on our own, creating this second market. So now there's COMEX, JP Morgan fixing, but now here comes Russia, China. And Russia, China says, we don't need you guys. We're going to make our own market. And therefore, we're going to get to the real price of gold and silver, because we need it much higher, because we want to come out with our old gold, our old currency backed by gold. And JP Morgan, what are they going to do? So JP Morgan's 25 and Russia's 1,500. Everybody's going to run to Russia going, great, I can get it it's worth 1,500. It's not hard to sell on the Russia Chinese market. We won't sell to Russia, but everybody else. So my girlfriend lives in Russia. I can send her silver and she can go buy it. If it gets to that. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So that's why I kind of push Nick a little bit with go buy some silver. Don't spend $1,500 on Mahomes. Spend $1,500 on silver. Would be a much better purchase and make you a lot more money, and then give you the opportunity of buying the Mahomes card with an ounce of silver. So you can have your cake and eat it too. You can have silver, it'll go up, and then you can still get the Mahomes card or the Burrow cards. Imagine how many Burrow cards he can get with an ounce of silver worth $1,000. Plus, when the shit hits the fan, really, who's buying cards? So it's going to hurt the demand. So anyway, back to the cards. So the cards the Ford dealership has an inventory that's costing him money. He had to buy it, and then he's got to insure it. He's got to keep the cars clean. There's little, maintenance issues and stuff. Maybe he had to fix the car up, maybe not. But nobody buys it. The longer it sits on the lot, the longer he pays these monthly payments. So he buys the car and he makes payments to the bank for the car until it's sold, and then he pays off the car. Well, the longer it sits on the lot, he's got to keep making these payments. He's fucked. I remember I had an interview a couple weeks ago, and I told the guy I'm an economist. It was for a finance job. I said, but by the way, I'm an economist. How are you prepared for this depression that's going to come and the inflation? Yeah, we're touching back a little bit. And I said to him, well, it's going to be hard on the car industry people because they can't sell the cars because of the high interest rate. He says, oh, Ford's got all these cars that they're selling. They got back orders that they're waiting. And I'm like, out of your freaking mind? What are you talking about? There might be orders for cars that were done before that they're waiting on the chips for, but nothing. You go to a dealership and they're full of cars. See, again, it's the guy doesn't listen to the full thought and full sentence. And I'm an INFJ, so I sit there and I know what I'm talking about, and I question the guy. Anyway, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. The back orders are the chips, maybe, if people are still wanting them. Are they active orders? He's trying to imply that there's orders for Fords that they're waiting to get filled. And I would imagine there's chip orders that are for a few years ago. But again, he wants to be smarter than me because he's the boss, and he'd be unlikely to work for because he wouldn't get me, but B, if I say, the sky's blue, he's going to say it's green because he's going to want to look smarter than me. He doesn't like that I'm smart. He gets jealous. So he wants to, I'm the boss. I'm supposed to be smarter. He doesn't get the concept at all. So that's what's happening. So let's go to the next video.
Could send it to infinity.
Where is the video I had? Okay, I found the point that we wanted.
September 11th, 2001. We're going to see this. I said, the silver will go up at least twice as fast and maybe even faster than that over coming years. But as I said, it will be every day by destroying the value of the paper money. And that be very safe with this investment because we know that the central banks and governments will always destroy the currencies. So don't take a short-term view on the gold or the silver. Buy it when it's cheap and nobody wants it, like now, very undervalued now. And then just hold it for as long as you can, as long as you don't, and don't spend it and don't take profit, because this run that's going to happen in the metals now is going to last many years, because we're looking at the destruction of the currency system, especially the West currency system.
Before I finish and go on to the next question, I'm not going to harp on this, and I don't want you to believe that I think your answers are fantastic here. But I'm going to ask the question a different way. Gold to silver ratio. Presently 85-1. Right? Ridiculous. Keith Newmar, he owns a few silver mines in South America, and they can't get any better than an 8-1 extraction of gold to silver. But the ratio of prices is 80 to 85 to 1. Do you think that this 85 to 1 will come back to approximately 30, 45 to 1, in your opinion?
Yeah, so absolutely. So look at it technically. We're obviously first target is the 30 level. That's where it was in 2011. It was at 30 level when gold went to 1900 and silver to 50. So that's the first target. But it will probably just technically bounce at the 30 level, I would say, because that was the low that everyone focuses on now. But the long-term ratio, as you say, throughout history, is certainly 15, and the nature is probably 10. That ratio, silver to gold. So yes, I definitely think that we're going to see, as I said, the silver will go up at least twice as fast, and maybe even faster than that over coming years. But as I said, it will be with incredible volatility. So people who buy high will get scared and get out, and so that's very dangerous. But no, to answer your question, yes, I definitely see those kind of levels in the gold-silver ratio in the next few years. If you have a 15 ratio, I think that makes 666 if gold goes to 10,000, let's say, and a 15 ratio, I think that becomes 666 silver, for example. I wrote the article many years ago, but I know that people don't like 666, but
I'll guarantee you the silver customers will.
So there you go. That's what I was looking for yesterday. So again, so you got 666 for silver and 10,000 gold. That's his price at today's dollars, but of course we're not at. Soon we'll be at tomorrow's dollars, which will be worth even less as they keep printing. So 666 you can buy for 25. 10,000 you can buy for 2,000. So gold will go up 5 times and silver goes up 30 times. And when it hits 666, it'll go to 1,000, because then the panic sets in and people go to buy. Demand increases price. That's what happens. So both silver and gold start making their move up. Then you've got Russia, China going, oh, here's our physical market. It's much higher. JP Morgan explodes. They go bankrupt. The derivative, the COMEX goes out, or they got to adjust to the 666, and they got to actually have a true, if they want to, then COMEX has to compete with Russia, China. So if COMEX wants to compete, they need to adjust their price to 666. And they got to quit playing the games, because if Russia says we're at 800, COMEX sure as shit better be at 800. It's like Nick with the Mahomes card. It's 1,500 on eBay, and then the other seller has to come in and he can't sell it for 2,500 because, as Nick said, I looked and the sold ones are 1,500. So you're looking at the sold ones at 1,500 and you're looking at that. So if gold's selling for 15,000 on Russia and China exchange, you better have that on COMEX, better match it. You can't be at 8,000 when it's 15. So that'll force COMEX to either compete or get out. And then Russia, China will hold it, and the price will zoom, because it's in the best interest to get the price up. They don't buy from us anyway. They can't, because of the sanctions. So it's beautiful. So Russia has gold mines in their country, and they pull the gold out, and that's why they don't know how much gold Russia has. It's believed to be 15,000 tons, because the central bank only shows 2,000 or 3,000 tons. Same with China. They don't show their true. China's got 40,000 tons, and Russia, let's say 15,000 to 20,000. Now, Russia can't sell their gold in Switzerland, let's say. So they need it to go up. So if I had a Russian coin, I don't think I could sell it in Switzerland. But I don't have Russian gold. I have American and Canadian and Krugerrand and that. But that's really, so that's going to push it. So that's really the key, is turn your money into gold and silver for that. So one other video I was looking at is 27 countries simultaneously reduce their U.S. debt holdings. So this is the end of the dollar because nobody wants it. She's now turned into the fat, ugly girl, right? U.S. asks China to engage in dual something. So the U.S. is like going to China, oh, please don't sell all our dollars. So China had to buy dollars so they could buy oil. Now what's happening is Saudi Arabia and Iran are now taking yuan for gold, for oil, not U.S. dollars. Everybody's like thumbing their nose at the idiots in the U.S. who think that they can blackmail, manipulate everybody with the dollar, going, you need the buy oil, and everybody's saying, fuck you, we don't need it. We're going to use yuan or rubles or gold. We'll buy gold and then pay for the oil with gold. For sure, Saudi Arabia will take that. See, that goes to everybody with, oh, gold's nothing. And I'm like, well, then why does everybody want it? Why is demand through the roof? That's like saying, well, nobody wants the Mantle card. Well, then why is, and the same thing with Mahomes, why is it getting 1,500 if nobody wants them? So when you see, that's what price is. Price shows you demand. And the gold price is 1,900 is not real, but that shows you how much demand there is. And now they're trying to make it look like there's no demand for silver. It's $20 an ounce, which is just pure bullshit. Hey, Bobby Bo, did you see the video, or I got to show you again? All right, let me show you. I was waiting for you, but you didn't show up, so I'm gonna show you the exact point.
Okay, this is going to sound
from
a little
our
nice,
guy.
but the fastest and easiest way to make passive online income on Amazon is to
Just to buy gold and
I
silver.
guarantee you the silver customers will like 666 if it refers to the dollar value. Absolutely. But depending on the inflation of the dollar. Okay, move on to the next question. Right, Egon, the Rush.
Usually, first
All right.
first target is the 30 level. That's where it was in 2000.
This is for you, Bobby.
It was at 30 level. When gold went to 1900 and silver to 50. So that's the first target. But it will probably just technically bounce at the 30 level, I would say, because that was the low that everyone focuses on. So now, but the long-term ratio, as you say, throughout history, is certainly 15, and in nature is probably 10. That ratio, silver to gold. So yes, I definitely think that we're going to see, as I said, the silver will go up at least twice as fast, and maybe even faster than that over coming years. But as I said, it will be with incredible volatility. So people who buy high will get scared and get out, and so that's very dangerous. But no, to answer your question, yes, I definitely see those kind of levels in the gold-silver ratio in the next few years. If you have a 15 ratio, I think that makes 666 on if gold goes to 10,000, let's say, and a 15 ratio, I think that becomes 666 silver. For example, I wrote an article many years ago about that. I know that people don't like 666, but
I'll guarantee you the silver customers will like 666 if it refers to the dollar value.
absolutely.
That's the same guy. That's Egon, the Swiss banker. I was looking for that statement yesterday in the videos, and I just missed it. And so he's saying silver 666, gold 10,000 conservatively. And then I'm saying once that starts running, 666 turns into 1,000 into 2,000 because everybody flocks in. And as the demand goes, a Mantle card or a Bobby Bow card, of course, then the price goes up. So that's the same guy. He's the Swiss. He runs Credit Suisse. He likes the president. He's an economist type of guy, like our UK guys. Yeah, so that's what I was doing. We talked about baseball cards with Nick. He's looking at a Mahomes and a Burrow card. And then I was talking car dealerships where I was going through my stuff, and there's this video. It's over. Ford dealers screwed. And then there was another one. Car dealers are going broke, are going out of business. So what we were talking about was obviously the interest rates are driving price. Prices are more expensive for cars. It's over market, right? The market for a Ford's probably 20,000. They're stuck on the lot, and when you add the interest rate in, it's now 30,000, which it's over market. See, if people would just use this as their whole analysis on life, it would be much easier, and you wouldn't get into these really strange words. What's the market for a Ford? 20,000. You've got it on your lot at 30. Why? Who do you think you're going to sell it to at 30? Interest rates go up to 9%. Who the fuck do you think is going to? Now it's 32. Your market's 20. You got to bring the price down. So the Ford dealers actually have to buy, as I was pointing out, like if I'm running Kroger's, I got to buy this, right? And then I go put it on the shelf and sell it. And if I'm the Ford dealer, I got to buy the cars, and then I take out loans from the bank, and then each month they have it on. I'm paying the loans. I'm paying the insurance. I'm keeping them clean. And if there's maintenance, and then I got to sell it, and I got to sell it at a profit. So if I pay $25,000 for the Ford, I got to sell it at 28 to make profit. I can't sell it under, or I lose money. And that's what he's talking about, is they're all going to lose money because they can't sell because nobody wants to fucking Ford at $30,000 plus a 10% interest rate for a Ford. Anybody buying a car now has got to be out of their minds, which is why I would say I would short Tesla and GM and Ford from stocks with that analysis on the market's way, the price is way over market. They're going to sit. They're going to lose money. Why would I want to buy stock in those companies when they're going to lose money? Because the demand just isn't there to buy a car. So that's what I was talking about. So that sort of catches you up based on what I was looking at on YouTube this morning. There's some shit with Russia and China and Ukraine. Then I was showing this: 27 countries are backing out of the U.S. 27 countries simultaneously reduced their U.S. debt holdings. So nobody wants the U.S. debt. 27 countries are now saying, fuck you. She is now the fat, ugly girl. 27 countries are saying it. There's another 50 or so that are thinking it. And the U.S. is threatening, and they're all going, fuck you, we're joining BRICS. And then there was a video on Iran selling in yuan and Saudi Arabia selling in yuan. So the petrodollar is gone. Now there's no hold. The U.S. can't hold people and sanction them and raise the interest rates on them. Now there's competition for the U.S. dollar with the yuan, which has to be backed by gold for anybody to take it serious. And that's where we're kind of heading. So that's what we've been talking about so far, Mr. Bobby Bo. So are you comfortable with that silver gold? So that was the guy we watched yesterday. He's the head of Credit Suisse. So we got that Switzerland flavor. So he's saying that the question asked was, what do you think of the what do you call it? The rate. So if gold, silver is normally 10 to 1 to gold, the ratio. And he said, well, the ratio now is 85 to 1. Right. So gold at 1900, silver should be 250. Well, silver's at 25. So it's 85 to 1 instead of 10 to 1. So he first said, well, it should go to 30 to 1, and then it should go that, which means if gold doesn't do anything, it goes up to 200 an ounce. Gold will go up just because of all this bullshit between the war and everybody getting out of the dollar losing value, which is what raises gold and silver prices, is more the dollar losing value, make it worth less, meaning you need more to buy the gold and silver. So that's kind of what you have with the gold and silver. So that's another reason it'll go up. COMEX is destroyed. Oh, I was watching some videos and I have to watch the beginning. I just ripped this guy who says gold's going to 1200. And I just call him out as being a Keynesian MMT guy. He's a communist. Don't listen to him. Then I say you should be ashamed of even being on YouTube with these incredibly bad predictions. Why are you making these predictions that are just so stupid? What the fuck? One guy said, well, as soon as you said gold, the economy was strong, he's turned it off. This guy doesn't think there's a recession. And I'm like, okay, I don't know this guy, I don't know where he learned his craft, but he's an idiot. I think we've been in a recession for a while. It's going to go to a depression. You'll start getting more unemployment, especially if nobody wants the dollar and the dollar loses value. How the fuck do you run an economy without dollars? So I just saw there's some cute comments I put for some of these losers that take up our YouTube space by just lying and being ignorant and expecting us to believe it. Like, what are you doing on here? You're so stupid. Nobody can understand you. Then I was talking to Nick, who wants to buy him a Mahomes card. So my thought is he's got a lot of risk. If he wants a $1,500 Mahomes PSA 10 rookie, and what are the odds in that card going to 2,500 versus going to 500? I'm saying go buy $1,500 worth of silver, and then you can, as silver goes to 1,000 an ounce, you can probably buy that $1,500 card for 1 ounce of silver that you paid $25 for. That's now worth 1,000, and you can buy it for that. So the odds on silver going from 25 to 1,000 are, I'd say, 99.999%. Right? It's going there. The odds on the Mahomes card staying at 1,500 or going up to 3,000 are probably very, very slim. It's a kickback off the Super Bowl. So he's getting his run now. I said, but the odds on it going from 1,500 to say 1,000 are probably 90%. So more than likely the card will go down in value. The Bobby Bo card's different because you're already retired. So you've already, put up your 700 home runs. You stole 3,000 bases and you batted 390. So your cards are gold, Bobby. They can't go down. Just like the Montana and the Jordan, they're all set. You're in the Hall of Fame. You got the legacy. Watch more of that guy's video too. What's his name again? Professor. Fuck, Peter Schiff's a moron. Don't even use that in my class. Peter Schiff. Egon von Gerritz. He's a Swiss. He's an Austrian economist. This is as good as gold Australia, which is really where the other guy, where my Alistair McLeod's on. He's a guest on here. But this guy has, I think it's gold Switzerland, something like that, where you can see his like newsletter or his article. So he writes like a weekly article. I should actually start reading it, but I catch him on here. But I know what he's thinking. We think the same. See, it takes me all of 2 minutes to understand like this other guy who says gold's going to 1,200. I immediately, even before I watched the video, said he's talking derivative gold, not real physical gold, because of the demand. So it's all about demand setting the price. We know demand for gold and silver is through the roof between Russia, China, India, Saudi Arabia, South Africa. So we already know the price should be very, very high for it. So if anybody says the price is going down, they're talking paper price. I don't give a fuck, because that's fantasy land. No, it's not Wayne Gretzky. That's a joke, but yeah, I want to watch more of his videos on Gretzky. So you think, yeah, I think he's very well. If I'm the professor and we all agree with my thought, because I'm Austrian, I'm an Austrian economist, and he's got the same thought, then I agree with it. So when they're talking like that, I understand what he's saying. I agree with it. When I point out the Peter Schiffs and the Rick Rules and the Rickards and the long-haired girl and all these other morons, after about 2 sentences, I say, fuck them. They're a bunch of idiots. Or Andy Scheckman, I'm getting real tired of him saying the silver supply is low. And now all of a sudden he's an economist because maybe he read Adam Smith. He's not an economist. He can't explain anything, just that the supply's down. So he doesn't really get the whole thing. So I'm tired of listening to him. He had a video out on the reset. Well, the reset's basically what you're doing is taking gold at 1,900 and you're pricing it at 30,000. You're resetting the price. That's what the reset means. Now, as far as making us all, Hitler people, I hope that doesn't happen. That's going to be hard to make 350 million people like your robots. America's a little different. You can say it, I'm going to condemn you all and put you in concentration camps, and you won't eat, you won't, you're all going to starve to death. And yeah, you can say it, but reality is, it's just very hard to harness in. You've got athletes making a lot of money. You've got, people making a lot of money. It's just too hard to just, murder all these people. I mean, they can try it, but we'll just get on a plane and go to Switzerland. I was typing the first couple letters of his name and it typed Gretzky. Well, it could be Wayne Gretzky. I went, his first name Egon is spelled out Elon. What the fuck is up with iPhone? I get that all the time. Now I'll typo Jenna or she'll typo me and I go, who's Henry? Oh no, it's Howard. So FYI, Jenna got back off the train. She said she had some wine and had some food and went to sleep. She says it's so boring. Well, 21 hours on a train going 25 miles an hour would be boring. I don't know how she does it, but since there's no airports open, she can't fly to Poland to see her son. So it's more or less she gets on the train and does that. Now I help her because I'm a nice person, and I know it means a lot to her to see her son, who has to be in Poland because of the war. So I'm thinking about her. It makes me happy to help her, but I don't get a benefit out of it. The benefit is she's happy she can go see her son, and she's very happy to do it. And she thanks me, and that's why I do it. And the same thing, Daria needs implants, and I said, well, I can't give you all the money now. You'll have to wait a little bit, but my income is dependent on all the gold and silver I'm buying, so I got to wait for that to go up. I don't want to sell it, but then I don't know how much money I need to live on. And yes, I'm getting the Social Security, which helps. So that pays rent and food and the utilities. The rest, the girls are kind of out of my pocket, so I got to be a little careful with it. But I'm not going to let them starve. I'll starve before they starve. So that's what's happening with them. So let's see, what else was I? So I was watching these two, Bobby, since you're an INFJ. These are the ones I like to watch. I don't like the other girl. She's very hard to follow. at the hot tub yesterday. So here's a few hot tub stories. So I see Mr. Communist. We just ignore each other. I kind of look left or look right when he's walks in, but I'm not moving. I'm not intimidated. You can go Joe Stalin yourself all you want and Karl Marx yourself. I don't give a fuck. I look at him as a loser. Like, who the fuck wants to read communist? I read Karl Marx. Okay, that's all I need to know. Talk to you later. What a loser. So then I talked to a guy on crypto. He was with his kids, and I had to work out in the smaller pool because the lap pool was about 10 feet deep because of the swimming, which I don't understand. If the swim class doesn't need it, why do you lower it to 10 feet deep? I don't understand. So I might actually go to the pool earlier. I might go after class and then have dinner, which would actually make more sense because then I could eat at 6 o'clock instead of 7:38, which I really don't want to eat at. Anyway. Yeah, we won't mention his name. He doesn't deserve that. But, well, that's, this is how an INFJ leads his life. He helps people. I don't know. I've always thought, it's funny, I always thought of myself as like Batman, like I can help people, so I do. And I never realized I was an INFJ. This is really opening my eyes to what I am, because when they go through what we are, it's exactly, I'm very psychic. I like to help people, but if you piss me off or cross me, then I'm going to fuck you. And that's sort of exactly, as I'm watching these videos going, that's exactly what I am. Now I understand what I am. Really helps. Because when you understand what you are, Bobby, then you everything falls into place. You go, yeah. So yeah, I won't mention his name, but yes, he's I always thought he was weird because he didn't like that you help people out, right? Oh, why are you helping the girls? Are taking advantage? They never took advantage of me. I know when a girl takes advantage of me, but my wife took advantage of me. My kids took advantage of me. So what am I supposed to do? If you're nice, people will take advantage of you. That's the nature of people. They're going, wow, he's really nice. I asked him for this and he did it. And I asked him for that and he did it. I'm going to keep asking. That's just the nature of people. They're a bunch of assholes who are selfish. And that's when you understand that we're not, but we're nice until you cross us. When you cross us, we say, go fuck yourself. So I had that happened yesterday. Some new girl, and she starts texting, Then she says, I want you to pay for my Netflix. Netflix is on. I want to watch a movie. Can you pay for my Netflix subscription? And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a bill. I get a bill for Netflix for $11 a month, and it comes out of my account. Like, it's a automatic. I don't get a bill for it. They just take the money. It's the way I signed up. So I'm going, what are you talking about? Well, I want you to pay my subscription. I go, I have no idea what you're talking about. How would I pay for your subscription? It comes out of your bank. It's you sign up and they take it out every month, and maybe you don't, but how am I going to pay it? And she got mad, and I told her, go fuck herself. I go, if you can't afford $11 for a Netflix subscription, I don't want anything to do with you, or you're just scamming me for money. I don't want anything to do with you. And I hate when these girls, you don't meet them. You get them online, and then they start asking for money. And as soon as they do that, it's goodbye. I learned a long time ago by my good friend Lena, who's Ukrainian, who is friends of Lena and Ira. So when I went to meet Lena, she comes along because, as I say, the girls on the internet is read me, and Lena is well, okay. And we start talking about the girls, and the girls basically she tells me something that's always stuck with me. She says, a girl that really likes you won't ask you for money because they're afraid that they're going to insult you by asking you for the money. And so therefore they won't. Unless, if you offer, that's one thing. But if a girl says, I need $100, then she said she's not interested in you. She just wants your money. And so you get a new girl from internet, and then she starts asking you for money, or can you pay for I'll come see you, pay for my plane ticket. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure, you can't afford a plane ticket. So this girl, oh, you can't afford $11 for Netflix. So I don't want anything to do with you. So I deleted her, and it was on some Instagram program, uninstalled, and like, fuck this. Anyway, so that's when people are taking advantage of you, when they won't send you a picture, when they won't send you like, nice to meet you, because a real girl she'll Skype you and look, it's really me. This is what I am and everything. Yeah, it's unfortunate that many people are like that, but like we say, it's all about intuition. We have no problem helping those who are deserving of. You're right. We want to help. There was that Clint Eastwood movie, for a few dollars, his first one. And he helps the woman who was held by the bad guy. And she goes, why are you helping me? And he says, because I can. Basically, when I needed help, nobody was there to help me. Now I can help, and you need help. I'll help you because the only reason is because I can help you and you need help. So I'm going to help you. And I always took a lesson from that. And same thing with Batman. I can, because I can. I can send money to Jenna in the middle of a week. It's a lucky she's not getting bombed, but at least so she can at least eat. And the same thing with Daria. She needs implants. Well, Daria's not fucking with me. She's not making it up. She showed me a picture and her mouth's all swollen. They pulled one tooth. They got to pull a second. It was a whole 20. It was like, I don't know. It was like 1,600 rubles, but after doing the math, it was $25 because the ruble's like $70, 70 rubles to $1. So it was like 1,600 rubles. So I said, here's 75. Here's 175 for food and 25 for your tooth. Then she needs the implant, and I got to figure out how to help her with that. I keep trying to explain, look, I've got all this gold and silver, and yes, I got a lot of money, but I don't want to start turning them in at 25. When it hits 666, I'll turn in a few to get some money to help, to help you that way. But at this point, I'm not gonna turn them in. So they're all to, once gold and silver goes up, then we'll go on a nice vacation and I can send you some serious money. But right now I'm just trying to survive in the mode of I got money and, I don't want to spend it all now and then I don't have any money. Then I got to start selling my gold and silver. So I'm very careful about my money now to get to the bridge of doing that. You're going to sell your silver first. I don't know. It depends what it goes to. If gold were to jump to 50,000, I would sell a quarter ounce at 12.5 probably. That would probably be my first sale, but it depends on what I need the money for. No, well, I think silver goes up much higher, much quicker. As he said, silver will jump quicker, and it'll jump much faster and higher than gold will. Not higher in price, like it's not going to go over 1,900. It's not going to go from 25 to 1,900, and gold's going to stay. Gold will go to 10,000, and then silver is going to jump up to 1,000. But from where it is, it'll really run. So that's what he says. So I would, in my mind, I'm just looking at the price. I'm looking at gold 50,000, but it has to go on its way. So I'm looking at it, as he said, 10 to 15,000, with silver going to 1,000 to 2,000. So those are my targets: gold 50,000, silver 2,000. But it's got to walk, so it might hit the 666 and go to 1,000, go to 15. But I'm expecting silver at 2, and gold might hit 10 and 15 and 20, but I'm expecting gold to go to 50. Now, as silver runs, what I would tell Bobby Bowe is you buy a lot of silver. You need to buy a lot more silver. But as you're buying your silver, it'll only take you 8 or 10 ounces of silver to buy gold. So you're going to walk into the coin store and you're going to say, I got 8 ounces of silver here. I want to buy an ounce of gold. I want to buy an eagle, or I want to buy a cougar ant or maple, whatever you want to buy. I want to buy an ounce of gold, and I'm going to pay for it with the silver. So that does two things. One, it gets you out of the 1099 because you're not selling it. So there's no 1099. You're then taking that you're using it to pay for the gold. Here's 8 ounces of silver. Give me an ounce of gold. And so you never sold your silver, and then you have the gold. And when you buy a house with your gold, or you buy a Mercedes with your gold, again, you're not selling the gold, you're bartering it. That's one way to get away from taxes. But again, if your income's low, the tax consequence is very, very minimal. If you're making a lot of money, then you probably don't need to sell the gold anyway. This is not, we're not buying Microsoft stock here where it goes from 30 to 50 and we're going to sell it. This is real money. This is gold and silver. We are not buying it. You're going to sell it when you need to sell it, not just for the hell of it. Because then what are you going to do with the money? So if you're making $100,000 a year and then gold hits 50,000 an ounce, what are you selling it for? You don't need to sell it. Just keep holding it. Let it go higher and higher. It's not going to come down. It's just the demand will grow and grow and grow because everybody needs it, because that means the dollar's out. So they'll come out with a new dollar. But if they come out with dollars backed by gold, it'll even go higher because they'll need a high gold price to cover all the dollars. So it's win-win, these gold-backed currencies and everything else. So as it goes, you're going to be fine. But that's, you really, you're going to have a reason. So my reason is going to be to pay for Daria's implants, or to give Jenna $1,000 so she can enjoy herself and buy a nice gift, and buy the kids gifts, and just so she can enjoy. Now, she does have her own gold and silver that she could sell if it gets to that point also. And as I'll see her in a month or two, I'll give her some more. And we'll just keep going from there. I think she's more excited to get the gold from me and oh, good, I get to see Howard. I get more gold and silver. But I'd rather give her that than flowers and candy. I'll tell you that. And she'd rather get that too. So yeah, they'll both boom at the same time, but silver's got a lot more to catch up with. Again, it's supposed to be this 8 or 10 to 1 ratio. So if gold goes to 10,000, theoretically silver should go to 1,000, being 10 to 1. That's what should happen. So they'll both move. All metal will move. He happens to like gold better, but we will buy gold with the silver. So you have certain price targets to start selling. No, I just have certain price targets. Selling will be dependent. Like if I owe the IRS some money, I might sell a quarter ounce, get 12, 13,000, pay the IRS, and I'll pay certain things. I am expecting the credit cards to go to zero because they'll come out with new money that'll be different. So I am kind of expecting the credit cards to go to zero, but we will see. If they don't, then I'll take money to pay those off and go from there. And then I'll buy a house with silver or gold to get out of my apartment, to show that I'm intelligent, Bobby, because I'll live in a house makes me more intelligent than living in an apartment. The guy who said that, see, that's why he's not on here anymore. Because when you talk stupid and you insult me, why are you insulting me? It's because you're jealous, I guess, or you can't handle an INFJ. Either way, we don't have time to listen to this crap. She was 2 on you went to see Europe last year. Okay, Bobby, let me interpret. She was the one you went to see in Europe last year. Okay, I read that. There's 2 of them. There's Jenna in the Ukraine and Daria in Russia. Yes, Jenna, the Ukrainian one. I showed you. She has that T-shirt that says I'm Ukrainian. She wore it every day. Yes, she's the one I saw in November and in the summer. And, we've just been on 3 vacations. 2 we went to Odessa, we went to Lviv, which was supposed to be Amsterdam, and now we went to Lisbon in Portugal. And now we got to figure out where to go for this one. It's okay. I know you're struggling. Sometimes you just can't see the ball. You can't hit that curveball sometimes. I'm with you, Bobby Bo. Don't worry about it. I get the gist of it. But yeah, no, we're real close. I've invited her here. I said, why don't you just stay with me, get out of the war? But she's got her family, and I respect that. So it's not like I'm worried she's got a guy there. I respect that she's got two sons. One's in her 20s and one's 14. The 14-year-old, she's getting out of the war. The 21-year-old can't leave. And so therefore she stays with him, and he's got a wife and a little daughter. So she's got a granddaughter who's like 3 or 4. And therefore she doesn't want to leave her. She has a sister there. She's got a pretty big family. Her dad died her brother died in the war. I guess he got bombed. And so she's got a sister there. So she's very family oriented. She wants to be with me, but can't leave her family. So she doesn't know what to do. So we meet on vacations, but she knows she's welcome here if she wants. So I don't know. She's kind of got like, do I want to be with Howard and safe, but I can't leave my family? And I would go live there, but I'm not going to live in the middle of a fucking war and get bombed down by Putin there. So before the war, I would have moved there. But then once the war has the problem, I don't, I'm not going to go move in with her and we'll have bombs dropping. I mean, I'm not going to do that. So that's really the problem of doing that. But it's with my Social Security. I can be anywhere. It'll hit my bank the second Wednesday of every month, and then that's it. So boom, I'll get $2,400, and I can, I don't know how I'd transfer it over, but I would have to transfer it. You've been to Russia before? Yes, I have. If so, how was it? Did you like it or out there? I was at Moscow meeting a girl. My friend now lives in St. Petersburg. And I love to meet her. St. Petersburg is very beautiful, but I've never been there. So I've been to Moscow. I spent a week there. Met another girl right after my divorce. It was like 10 years ago. And it's, you understand there's mafia. So you try to be careful with that. I spent a lot of time around the hotel or go shopping at the malls. It was funny. There's a white building, and inside there's this huge mall. Red Square, next to Red Square, there's a huge mall. And excuse me, wow, with the 732. So there's a huge mall there. And, so there's a lot of malls there. It seemed pretty safe if you didn't go looking. Like it was, don't go looking for trouble. So, Red Square, who knows? But basically I looked around and with my girl, like we wanted to go from the hotel to Red Square. She finds a guy who has a Toyota Camry, and I guess he's a taxi without putting the taxi on it. So we paid him and he drove us, so just like me standing in the corner and you walk up to me, you say, can you take me to wherever? And, take me to Disney World, and you pay me and you get into my Camry and I drive you to Disney World. And you're like, and that's how it was. So you just went you didn't go to the taxi. You just saw a driver. Now, maybe she texted him or maybe she got it on her phone, which I couldn't read. They understand enough English. You just look at, you kind of go, you want to go eat or, things like that. And they get it. And most words they can kind of get, certain words, but it was nice. So she got a lot of shopping. She met me for the shopping. Did she take advantage of me? Probably a little, but that was okay. And I got to meet her, and it was kind of cool. Like, oh, I'm going to meet a girl in Moscow, and It was different, but I didn't mind it. I kind of liked that. I was glad when the plane took off. And here's my words. I had to go Frankfurt to Moscow and Moscow to Frankfurt. And I go, this is fucking World War II. I got the Nazis and the Russians, and like the two places I don't want to, the two countries I don't want to go, I was going to, and all I could think about was World War II, the freaking Germany. Like, oh my God. The people there are fine. They're just regular. I mean, they're just regular people. Like if you went to the mall in Tampa now, Bobby, and you'd see people walking around. It's the same as in Moscow. Just people walking around. The difference is they speak Russian versus English. And that's it. So you basically have that going on. So that's what you did. I've been to France and a lot in Europe. But that's, it was fine. I mean, I was really there to spend time with the girls. So we're walking around the hotel, we're swimming, we're going shopping. So it was a normal like vacation. Funny though, the problem is the TV. You turn on the TV, you can't understand anything. I think I got the BBC, and I got there was Russian 24 on, and I could tell by the tick tock of the clock of Jack Bauer when it would go to break, it would click click click, and it click click click. I says, "Is this 24?" And she says, "Yeah." So there was a Russian Jack Bauer. It was hysterical. But I think now if I took this laptop, I think I could get Netflix on it in English. It would be Russian Netflix, but in English, I think. And you can always change languages in Netflix. So I think now it wouldn't be as bad. But basically, you can't have a conversation. It's hard to watch the TV. I think I was watching Russian World Poker Tour with Russian Mike Sexton. So I'm watching. It was pretty funny, but I wasn't scared, but I didn't go look for the mafia down there and Nikolai and everybody. So it was fine. I would have, if you're gonna go to a country, it's best to meet, have a friend, a girl or a boy there to at least, what are we gonna do type of things. Even in Lisbon, it was with Jenna, and we went to the mall and we went shopping. We walked around the city. We basically took a cab to the restaurant. We ate and went back to the room and turned the TV on or go to the pool or eat. So, I mean, it's what do you do on a vacation? So it's just relaxing and everything. Never mind, probably a scam call, I guess. Oh, no, I didn't even answer it. I ran into CC Sabathia at the mall, and there you go. Chocolate chip Sabathia. That's cool. Did you tell him to buy gold and silver? Is he going to be on CC? You here? Let's see if the CCers here. So this was a weird number. It was 732. And it was, 732. I don't know what area it goes. 702 is 702 is Vegas. So I don't know what 732 is. Probably some guy. Didn't leave a message. Could be about a job. I don't know. But a weird area. I'll call it back after. And it's funny. I call and then it's like, hi, just leave. They don't even say anything. It's just like, just leave a message at the beep. So you don't even know who you're talking to, right? One lady I called and it was about Medicare or something. I go, I'm not on Medicare. I fast. I don't have sugar. That's my medicine. Okay, so I'm in the pool, and I can't go in my normal lane. It's called the bulkhead, and the floor gets raised and lowered. And supposedly because there's a class, they lowered it, so it's way over my head. I can't even touch the bottom. Well, with my back, I'm afraid to run without the bottom, and I don't really want to start swimming. That might hurt my back. So I really just want to walk in, water up to my neck, right? I just want to walk in it, do a little bit of running. I'm pretty submerged. I'm pretty light, but it's good to keep me in shape and do my workout. And then I do my little aerobics. So, they can't raise it. So I went into the 3 foot. There's a little section about this big, 3'10", which comes up to about here, which is okay. So I'm in there and I start talking to a guy, and somehow gold comes up. Well, I am and I'm not. I have enough. I have money, and then I have a ton of gold and silver, and then I got all my baseball cards. So, but as long as I can make a lot of money working in finance, it's easy for me. So, it's sort of like, let's say you're in your 10th year of your contract, right? You played for the Mets for 10 years and you hit 330. It's easy for you. And if somebody wants to pay you a couple $1 million, you're like, yeah, I'll go through the motions. And, as long as I can still play, I'm going to play. That's kind of how I am. I'm at the point where once gold and silver does what we expect it to do, then I'm out. Then I'm just kicking up and living on an island where we're going to have the gold standard. But until then, I need to bridge it. So I'm getting Social Security, which pays the rent, the food, the utilities. All that's paid. The only thing that's not paid really is the credit card and the girls. So I need a little bit of extra money for that. So I'm kind of, if I got to pay for implants or Jenna to go on a trip, so I have a little extra money, or to take Jenna on a vacation, it's going to cost me. So I want to make sure I have that extra money, which I do, but I don't, like I said, I want to go slow on it. So if I can go make $100,000 doing finance, which is easy to me, then sure, I'll go do it. I know everything's going to get really difficult soon. So if I can get another year in at $100,000, fine. That's perfect. I make good money in Teaser King when football is with the customers and the betting. So I make good money there. So I really just need to get to September kind of. So it's kind of a, if it's easy work, why not do it, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. So if I get a call, I'm still applying, but in my mind, it ain't going to be long term. It'll be a year or two, and that's it, right? It's not going to be. It's going to be okay. Gold's up. All right. It was nice playing. See you later. As what you would do in baseball when you finally said, okay, that's enough, and then you go retire like you're doing. So we'll see what the call is. I don't know, but they didn't leave a message. And if it's a job, they usually leave you a message. But maybe he did. I noticed I checked my messages and there's 5 messages that I didn't even know I had going, this guy called yesterday. And you're like, how come I didn't hear it? So I'm not aware of they left the message, but I will check the number. So again, back to the pool. So I'm in the pool in the deep end working out, and this Bitcoiner guy comes by. So he's got his little kids, and so we start talking, and he's from Holland. And I don't know, I mentioned something about this strange guy, and then I said, well, gold and silver. And then he starts talking about Bitcoin and blockchain and crypto. I thought I was talking to the idiot. And so he says, well, crypto will always be here. And I'm saying, well, I'm not arguing blockchain. If it's an IT function, well, of course. But I said the problem with Bitcoin is it's not money. So, and then it's, I made, I bought it at 4,000, the famous, I bought it at 40 cents and now it's at 20,000. Look at me. Yeah, sure you did. Now you're telling me how stupid you are. So he says, I bought it at 4,000 and I don't know if he still owns it. I wasn't really paying attention that much. So I'm letting him talk about it. So he's talking blockchain, which is like a ledger. He says it's really secure because you got to make these transactions and then people make sure they fit. And I go, what kind of crap is that? So the guy's got to check the ledger to make sure the transaction's good and not duplicated. Sounds like a lot of pain in the ass work from what I says, I go with my credit card. I go online, I book a trip to Amsterdam and it's done. There's the trail. I bought a ticket. I paid $800, and I've got the email saying, yes, you bought the ticket, and we're done. There's nobody has to put it on a ledger or anything like that. So I'm really like confused by that. So from that standpoint, so he's talking, and I'm like, okay, I'll listen to you. And so he's saying the technology's there, and I said, well, what's the value? It's in US dollars. He says, well, I paid with Danish kronen when I bought mine. I says, they haven't got converted to US dollars because the price of Bitcoin's in US dollars. And when the currencies go out, what's the value of Bitcoin? I know what the value when gold, I don't need dollars for gold. I know gold's going to have value. I says, I can hold the gold. I can't hold the Bitcoin. And then we brought up, I think Bitcoin's like baseball cards. He says, yeah. I says, it's like a Mickey Mantle card, right? You have a value for Mickey Mantle. To me, it's like Bitcoin, right? You have the value. I said, but the difference is I can hold the card. I can hold the Bitcoin, and it's digital. So it's the only digital dollar is the Bitcoin. So we had a pretty pleasant conversation. I didn't beat him up for being a Bitcoin. I don't know if he's a Bitcoiner or not. I just tried to explain gold to him a little bit just to educate him. And then, so our final was that we think Bitcoin's like baseball cards where it has a value, but it's not money or gold because you can't use it to buy things. So he said, well, you can't buy things with the Mantle card. I said, no, I wouldn't try to. I would sell it, get the money, and use the money to buy things. And it sounds like that's what you would do with Bitcoin. You would sell the Bitcoin to get money to buy things. And I said, that's what I think. That's what I think of Bitcoin. It's not money in the sense that I can go buy things with it, that I don't need that intermediate transaction. And he said, well, with gold and silver. I said, well, with gold and silver, I can buy things. More than likely, if I went to a restaurant, now I could pay with silver. In the future, I probably couldn't pay with silver. Well, in the future, I might be able to, but it'll be too expensive. The silver will be worth $1,000. The hamburger is going to be worth $10. So I'm going to want to cash it in to get the money to buy the hamburger. But that's what a medium of exchange is. He didn't know what a medium of exchange is. Bobby, these people are so stupid. The IT people are intellectual in IT language, right? Oh, it's a Bitcoin, it's a blockchain. Like, they'll know blockchains, but they don't know what medium of exchange is. They don't understand you get this to go to the restaurant in the grocery store and get your haircut and make your payments of the utilities. That's what this is for. It's a medium of you're exchanging instead of bartering, right? Instead of walking in to get my haircut and say, well, I'm going to give you the Canadian Club. So I'm going to pay for my haircut I'm going to go to the restaurant and order ribs. I'm going to pay you with Canadian Club. So they make it, you use the dollar to exchange goods and services. So here's $1 and you cut my hair. Here's $1, I get ribs. And that's why you have the dollar. But that's the whole concept of money is to use it to purchase things from other people. That's what makes an economy go. And that's the whole thing about the economy, right? So Bobby plays baseball. How are they going to pay him? Well, you're going to get, I don't know what you made, Bobby. You made $1 million a year, let's say. Somebody like you, probably 3 or 4 million. But how am I going to pay you? I'm going to pay you in dollars. So I could pay you in bananas. I could pay you in Canadian Club. I'm going to pay you in dollars. And like you said, even some of the players wanted in Bitcoin. Well, if you were playing now, Bobby, you'd be getting paid in gold. I guarantee it. You'd be saying, give me gold. But that's the medium of exchange, right? That's why we have it, because it's accepted. So if I go back to my definition, qualities of the medium of exchange. It's for exchange, it's to use, it's to pay people for goods and services. It's portable a little bit, does a lot of work. It's scarce. To keep the value high, you have to keep it scarce, not printing it to death. Divisible for small exchanges, so I can buy a pack of gum with it. Fungible, everything is the same and it's replaceable. So it's got to be the dollar or the gold or the silver, but it's the same thing. You just different countries. It's fungible. Everything is it's accepted and durable. So it's got to be acceptable that everybody wants it, and then it's got to be durable. So like gold or even the dollars, I can give you the dollar. It's not going to crumple up. That's the medium of exchange. That's why you have it. That's how you pay for things, right? Bobby gets Kung Pao chicken. How's he going to pay for it? Bobby's employer, the New York Mets, wants to pay him. How are they going to pay him? How are they going to get his services? They can barter it and say, look, we'll pay for your groceries and your rent and your gas, and we'll buy you a Mercedes and da-da-da-da-da, or we'll just give you money and you can go buy them all. So we give you money. Now, where this tax comes in is bullshit. You should not be taxed because it's not income, because in my mind, you're performing a service and they're paying you for it. How is that income? So when I go get my haircut, it's not income to her because she's got expense of paying the rent and the scissors and the different things and drive, so she's more or less, it's not all, it's partly income with that, but really it's not, it's a barter. He comes in to get his hair cut. I'm cutting his hair. He's just giving me money as opposed to bananas. He could give me bananas. Good luck taxing those. So that's the problem I have with income tax. It's not income. It's a barter between what you're offering to what they're offering. And that's what it is. I would be telling the Mets to pay me in kangaroo, eagles, cougar, and damn right, Bobby, and gold, not silver. I will tell them to switch the design for each million. There you go. But I mean, that's what you would do. By the way, I was wondering about tax on a gift. Do you have any experience in that, Professor? Gifts are usually, I think there's a limit. Like there used to be, you could usually gift would be up to like 100,000. I don't know if they changed the law. And then inheritance. I don't know if that's taxed or not. My dad died and he left me, I got $8,000 from a mutual, it was like a New York Mutual or something like that, Metropolitan Mutual Life Insurance. So I got an $8,000 check for his life insurance and I did not have to pay tax on it. It was tax-free because it was inheritance. So I didn't have to pay tax. But I know there's a gift. I think there's a limit on it, but I don't know if you're going to. So if you want to give like your family gold and silver, I would probably give it to them now. Well, the price is low, but yeah, it's and that's going to be an interesting one on a 1099. You might want your daughter, you might want somebody who doesn't make any money to cash it. They'll get a 1099. They don't even do tax returns. And then, so maybe that's a way out of it. So you don't cash it in. Somebody who's retired cashes it in, uses their social, doesn't file a tax return because they don't work or they have Social Security. And then if there's a small tax on the gold, then you pay it. You pay $300 and you get the money for the gold, or you give them $500 to do it or something like that. So that could be another way around you getting the 1099 for it. We have plenty of thoughts, Bobby. I have a buddy of mine that received property as a gift, and now he's wondering if he's going to get banged hard on tax for it, and asked me if I know. Some of these people think that Bobby Bo knows everything. Yeah, I was going to say, why doesn't he try an accountant or something? Unless you're an accountant, then you're not telling us. Yeah, I've given cash as a gift, and there was no tax, but not sure about the property thing. So I told him I will try to find out was it inheritance? You see, property as a gift. I don't think so. Normally when you sell the property, but if you buy property, you don't pay tax on it. Or if you get the property in a gift, I don't think you pay tax. I think the tax comes when you sell it. So when we listened to Egon yesterday and he talked about compensating the gold, he said they wouldn't compensate it. He says they'll get, this is what they'll do, is when you sell it, they'll tax you as a way to compensate it. So your gold's fine. The government's not coming in, but when you sell it is what it is. So what we'll do is we'll have people that don't make any income. You want to make $500, and we'll say, sure, just go cash that in. They'll get a check, and then we'll have to get the money, and we'll keep the money. We give him $500. He does a tax return where he says, I make zero or very little. He pays another few $100s in tax on it, and off we go. And we're $1,000 richer. So he made a little bit, and we made it. That could be that's probably our best out, I think, on this, Bobby. Yeah, he sold it for a profit of 1,000 or 100,000. That would probably be like a capital gains. Capital gains is based on your income. So if his income is zero, I guess he has to put that on his tax return, and I'm sure he'd have to pay a small tax on it, I think. But I'm not really sure. From what he told me, I believe if he's in the 15% bracket, but the gift sort of throws me a wrench in it. So I told him to clarify with the CPA. Well, that's the thing, is the gift. So he gets $100,000 gift. Is the gift, at what point is the gift taxable? And did he pay tax when he sold it? I mean, sometimes when you sell the land, they're already putting the tax, like a sales tax, in on it. So I'm not sure, but I'm not a CPA either. And for $100K, I'd find out. But it's a nice gift. Well, thank you, Bobby. I'll look into it. Again, that kind of stuff, I don't know. It's something I would Google and say, do you have to pay tax on a gift? And that, but a lot depends on his income. So if he's working and making a couple $100,000, and now he's got to put $100,000 I don't even know if it's a capital gain. To me, it's a gift. I got a gift of $100K. That might not be taxable because it's not a capital gain. He didn't buy it. It was just given to him. If I give you an ounce of gold, you didn't buy it, so you don't have. It's not a capital gain to you. Then I gave you a gift, and that's why I said if you're going to gift somebody, gift them now while it's at 2,000, not 50,000. So I gifted Jenna with the gold and the silver. And although she's not going to have the same problem in the Ukraine or wherever she sells it, but it's a gift. So, and she knows to hold it. She knows the value is going up. She knows to hold it, and God knows she could use it. So that's kind of how I'm taking care of her. Like, you'll have a lot of money in the gold and silver I gave you. So she'll do that, but. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that, but I'm not an expert in all, but I am an expert in a lot. So what I do learn, I become expert in. So I either learn something, like poker, football, I learn it, or that kind of stuff. I just haven't been gifted or done anything. We used to give money to my daughters. So I don't know. But my brother used to do that with me before I started working. He would, put it on my tax return or something, and then he wouldn't pay taxes with it. Now, he is a CPA, but we haven't talked in 10 years, and we probably won't talk again. I've shut the door on him as an INFJ. He was just too weird, and now I understand when people bother you, you shut the door on them. Us INFJs. So anyway, so the Bitcoin guy, we agreed that Bitcoin is like a mantle card. It's not. It goes up in value. He tried to. I said, "What gives it value?" He says, "Supply and demand." And I go, "Oh, really? You think supply and demand is real?" I said, "Maybe at the grocery store, but supply and demand is not real like with gold, and I doubt it's real with Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin supply and demand. In other words, if people want to buy it, it goes up, and when they sell it, it drops. Again, how do they know? So if I bought a Bitcoin, how would they know? And if I sold my Bitcoin, how would that's going to affect the price, really?" So I really doubt that. So that's why I was like, I can go on eBay and see what the mantle card sells for because of the market. I'm not sure Bitcoin has that type of market. I know gold and silver doesn't. And so I wasn't really trying to talk him into gold and silver, but when he brought up Bitcoin and the bubble had blockchain stuff, I turned off. I kind of listened a little, but I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. I don't care. It's not money. See, I keep going at the attitude, it's not money. Now it's an IT thing. Well, I work finance for IT companies, so I get that, but I don't buy where it's IT. I don't know. I don't know how SAP works. I don't know how Excel works, but I know I use it a lot. But if you're going to tell me how you program Excel, I don't give a shit. I only care that how do I use it? I'm a user. I use SAP. I use Oracle, PeopleSoft, but I don't understand the blockchain and all that crap. I'm not an IT person. So there's no benefit in learning and trying to understand it. I don't have an interest in it. I can't make money with it, so there's no interest. What is a blockchain? Does that make you money? No. It's the stuff. It's the ledger behind it. Who cares? Just like Oracle, there's the code behind it. Who care? All I care about is being able to use it. So that's my point with like the blockchain. He says they'll always be there. I go, I'm sure it will be blockchain, but Bitcoin, I don't know where the value comes from, and I really don't. It's not money, and it'll never be money because it's not. It's not. First of all, it's not. We don't know if it's scarce. Is it divisible for small exchanges? This I don't know. Is it accepted? No. And is it durable? No. And you can't grab it. So I don't know how electronic works as it's fungible. Can I go to the Toyota dealership and use Bitcoin for it? No. So therefore it's not money because it can't purchase. It's not a medium of exchange and it can't purchase anything. I can't go to the grocery store and buy groceries with it. They don't accept it because it's not money because the point I made to him was it's not US, it's not government specific. It's just internet specific. Like I said, well, you can pay bills with it. I go, I pay bills with PayPal. I send my girlfriend in Russia PayPal. I go, so what, that's how I pay her with PayPal. So why go use Bitcoin? How is she going to get the money when I go PayPal? Her sister puts it into her bank account and then she just has to go to the bank and get it. But I mean, we need a way of moving it into the medium of exchange as we will with gold and silver. But without the US dollar, I have gold and silver has a value. Bitcoin, what's its value without US dollars? And it's priced in US dollars. I don't see Bitcoin priced in rubles and yen and all this other shit. So that was our conversation. Pretty, he was funny. He says, like, he could see I'm kind of like getting upset. He's like, I don't want to make you mad. We just can talk about it. And maybe they see me get mad with the other people. But then I saw the communists and I just walked right by them. I'm ready to go, hey, Heil or Karl Marx or Joe Stalin. Have you murdered anybody today, communist? I mean, that's my thought of looking at the communists. And when I get mad when I hear these Keynesian MMT people, like this idiot saying gold's going to drop, same thing. I'm like, you're an asshole. I don't want any, stop bothering everybody on YouTube with your bullshit, stupid ideas that are just ridiculous. Fortunately, the people who are leaving comments are all like me going, you're an idiot, you're an idiot, you're an idiot. What are you doing? So, Bobby, in other news, I just started eating my avocado. Did you have yours today? Yeah, I ate before the show. So what I'm kind of doing now is eating at about 11:45. The avocado. I had my chicken, my deli sliced chicken, and my pita with my hot mustard. So I had that, and then I think I'll probably go to the gym earlier. Instead, normally I kind of go at about 6:00. Then I'm getting home at 8 and I'm hungry. So I think I want to go right after with the intent of getting my workout in, and if they're moving the fucking pool to 12 feet, and then getting home by 6 and eating. So, Bobby, in your eating, what you need to do is think about it as you have a window and the window closes. So during your window you eat, which is your window is between 10 o'clock and 4 p.m. That's Bobby's window. So you can go eat. You still want to stay away from ice cream and cake and all that shit, especially juices. You don't want to eat. It's full of sugar. So you stay away from your sugars and your carbs. So it should just be, I'll have an avocado. Oh, I can have some broccoli. I'm going to have my steak and my ribs and my chicken and my pig's ears and all that meat shit. You're going to eat all that. But you're going to eat it at like 10 o'clock will be breakfast. So you're probably going to have your omelet with broccoli in it and whatever niceties and your green tea. And then you're going to get about 3 o'clock and you're going to make your steaks and your burgers and your chicken and your ribs and all that, kung pao, that you're going to eat it then at like 3:30 and you're done at 4 right after. And then that's it. So you got a longer time to go unless you get to sleep early. That's the problem that I see what you have. So if you eat at 4, by 7, 8 o'clock, you're probably getting hungry and you're kind of fucked. You can only have your tea and your water. So you got to have a lot of water and then get to sleep. And then again, now you get to eat at 10 o'clock, then your window opens up, right? So just think of it as a window. It's open at 10. You can eat until 4, whatever not whatever you want, but as much as you want. If you want to eat another steak or you want to eat another, have 2 salads at 2 o'clock or broccoli or cook another omelet, you can do all that. You're not limited to calories and you're not limited to the amount. What you are limited to is no sugar or carbs and no high fructose corn syrup. And so that's what you got to keep in mind. That's your limit. You can have 5 steaks if you want. So you won't be hungry because that's really what the point is. Now, you've been on this for a while. Are you noticing difference? Is your digestion getting better? You're probably not as hungry if you're not eating chips and Oreos and Pepsi and stuff like that. You're probably not as hungry because those are the foods that make you hungry. You eat Fritos, the next day you're starving because you want more Fritos because your body's freaking out. So you have that to also curb your appetite. So you should start losing weight and you should start feeling a lot better. And I hope your digestive gets better, but you should start noticing it. I don't know if you just started this or how long you've been on it, but after about a month, all of a sudden your clothes are, if you keep the same clothes that you're wearing now, they'll be big on you. You'll go down to the next size in a month because it'll really hit you fast. And then, so your goal should be a 48-hour fast in like a month. And you're kind of practicing now. So it's like baseball. It's spring training now. You're hitting and getting used to the pitchers, and then the game starts. And then, so in a month or so, you'll be doing a 48-hour fast, and it'll be easy. Just a lot of water and green tea. And then, then the middle of the season, now you're gonna do a 72-hour fast. And it's very healthy for you. And the guy inside cleans you up. That's what you're looking for. So Yeah, so just keep eating avocados. You can have dark chocolate as long as it's over, like I usually get 85 or 90. That's fine. And you have a couple of squares. You don't eat the whole. It's not a Kit Kat or M&Ms where you eat the whole thing, right? It's you open it up. I have the bar and I take 2 squares at a time, and it really curbs your appetite, gets your sweet tooth, but it satisfies your sweet tooth with cocoa and not a lot of sugar, because the milk chocolate has milk don't have that much sugar. It's cocoa. There's only 10% of it's like milk chocolate. So it's a very, very healthy, and cocoa is extremely healthy for you. It cures a lot. So you have that. You squeeze some lemon into your water or your tea to also get the benefit, and that kind of makes you less hungry also. So you got to think of food as just energy and not, geez, I really like it. It tastes good and I'm going to overeat. You want to avoid that at all costs. It's more of a necessity than it's like taking a pill to make, taking a vitamin. That's really what food is. That's why you don't care what the avocado or the dark chocolate tastes like. You're not in it to taste good. That's where you make your ribs and chicken, for the taste. But even then, you don't use regular barbecue sauce. You go to the olive oil and the French dressing, and you mix it up, and that's what you put on it. It gives it, like I use the French dressing from Ken's as ketchup, so I do that. NCAA basketball tournament. I guess the brackets just are coming out. You're definitely speaking a lot of facts, Professor. Yeah, well, as you know, we don't bullshit INFJs. We are more for facts and stuff like that. So when I talk about the girls, I try to be more factual too. Not as much bullshit, but what you put the French dressing on, by the way. Chicken or ribs or steak while I'm cooking it. The meat, I more use Italian dressing to marinate it. So I squeeze the Italian dressing, Ken's, and I brush it in with salt and pepper and paprika and, turmeric and all that. And then I wipe it, and then I cook it. And then when I'm done, instead of ketchup, I now put French dressing on my plate, and I dip the meat, if I need that, into the French dressing, and it tastes great. I like to try different stuff on my food to switch things up. Yeah, it gets boring. That's why we, every once in a while I have a piece of pizza or I'll have a bagel, just because it is tough. So you do switch it up. But I find myself always having the veggies and the eggs. I don't really go without eggs too much. So once I get down to the end, I go buy another dozen or so, and the half and half to make them with. And, I haven't had eggs yet today. I'll probably make them later if it's 2:30. So if I go to the pool now, then I will eat. Then I'll probably have an omelet at 6:00 or something. Like I said, I'm not going to Big Boys anymore at $14 for a little double hamburger that's probably a quarter pound. $14. They're out of their fucking minds. So I'll probably go to like a Coney where they're $6 or $7 for the burger and get a chili with it and walk away with a $10, $11 meal. But, you got to be a little bit careful with your money. So it's raw, not necessarily pouring it over it after it's made. Yeah, well, you're marinating it, right? You watch, Gordon Ramsay. So he's putting the ingredients on his stuff before he cooks it, right? As he says, you can't marinate it after you cooked it, and you can't marinate it while it's being cooked. So you marinate your meat before it's cooked: salt, the pepper, the turmeric, the garlic, the sauces. You're putting it on, you're letting them sit for a half hour, then you're cooking it, and then now you're eating it. Now I pour the French dressing to kind of use it as you would ketchup, right? So it's the same thought process. Bobby, okay, you just answered. It's my fault. That's okay. I agree. I never get tired of eggs. Yeah, I mean, and I put cinnamon on them sometimes just to mix it up, and I make my 3 egg. I love when I have hamburgers in it. Man, I'll tell you, you put meat in those eggs, Bobby, broccoli's good. Onions are good in it. I'm not sure about the mushrooms, but it's funny when you go to the Coney Island or the, the coffee shop at the Mirage or something, and you get an omelet, you get these little green peppers and little red peppers, a little onion and a little. When I cook, I'm getting I'm getting 3 big broccolis in it and onions and, a whole hamburger. So I get it done. It's a 3-egg omelet. It's like a freaking meal. Gordon Ramsay was at the Super Bowl the other day. Did you say hi to him, or were you there? Where was it at? Was it in Atlanta, I think? Or Arizona? Was it Arizona? Yeah, I don't get that guy. Why does he do shows? Like, you're a fucking chef. And it's funny how it's the only place you're Michelin chef is in Europe, where they have the Michelin guide. There's no Michelin. We don't count Michelin stars here, although they might open up a restaurant saying, "Oh, it's a 3-star Michelin cook." We have no idea. There's no Michelin. It's a European thing. It's like the Michelin guidebook in Europe, where people would know what hotel to stay at. Or I don't have a Michelin guide. I don't, I go on bookings.com, or, you go on Cheapo Air and you book your flight, and then you go on bookings and you book your hotel, and off you go. So that's fine. So I'll be doing that soon. Again, I'm hanging out, waiting. Now that I got the Social Security, I feel a lot better. And then it's just simply a matter of getting the gold and silver up. So sometimes I get worried, and then I realize, well, I got all the gold and silver, but I don't want to run out of money. So it's a catch-22 there. Anyway, so I'll be doing the basketball tournament. What I'm going to do is rank the teams. So I'm going to call them, A, Bs, overs, unders, and Z teams. And let's see how this works. So theoretically, the A teams should win. So let's find the A teams, and we'll put them down. They're probably the 1 and 2 seeds. And then we'll look at if we get overs playing each other, unders playing each other. Like Kansas City, they were an over team, the Chiefs. So we'll look, where's the Kansas City in basketball? Where's the A teams in basketball? Where's the Detroit Lions Z teams or over teams? And we'll try to find them, and let's see if we can figure out the tournament that way. I'll just give the games out here versus, I'm not going to sell them. I might sell some NBA playoff games when we get there, like last year's 50-unit lock Golden State. So once the playoffs, I might very cheaply sell them. And then baseball, I do sell the baseball picks, but I'll get much more selective. It's just going to be, here's my top games, and do that every day, because that's again, it's an everyday thing. But the best way with baseball is pitching. You can't. I used to think, well, I tried to blend it in with football, going, well, they're a high scoring team, but nobody's hitting Verlander. So I don't care if you got the 27 Yankees, or what was it, the 80, what were you, the 87 Mets, 88 Mets with Bobby Bowe on it. You can't, it doesn't matter. They're not going to hit the pitcher, right? They're not going to hit Verlanders. Doesn't matter who you got. There was a YouTube on it, I think, of Sandy Koufax in the 64 or 65 World Series, the Dodgers and the Yankees. I don't remember which year. And Koufax just strikes him out on 3 pitches, because that was kind of the look at how he struck out Mantle on 3 pitches. He gave him the fastball, the curve, and then Mantle was done after that. And it's basically that's the point, right? If Koufax can strike out Mantle, what chance? You got a good pitcher who's going. Forget about it. So it's funny now, Bobby. I sit there and I look at these people, and I wonder if they're INFJ, or I go, I think this guy acts like an INFJ. Very curious what they are, and then I start wondering, is Jenna and Daria INFJs, because we get along very well. which is unusual. And that's what I'm looking for R to be with INFJs, because we would go well together, versus the other girls who don't treat you well or try to con you. I can tell they're not INFJ, so I don't really have any interest in them. But as long as I've known the girls, and as you know, as nice and appreciative as they are, I wouldn't be surprised if Jenna's an INFJ. She's pretty tough, pretty strong girl, as far as that goes, and she gets me, I believe. So we will see. But I'm starting to notice that. But there's a lot internal that you can't notice. Like, can they read you? Can they, you know, the whole psychic thing, the whole intuition, that you don't know. You don't know that with the person. You know it with me because I pick, and I'm telling you I'm psychic, and then you can see that I'm picking. So it's really hard to know if somebody's psychic. But sometimes they'll say, God, I feel like I'm psychic. And you're like, oh, you're an INFJ. You didn't know it, but you are. So it's very interesting seeing what it is and going, that explains a whole shitload, because there's a lot of people that get on your nerves, and you never knew why, or you didn't fit in and you never knew why. Now you know, no, it's because you're in a different universe than they are. And it's a good thing. And then now you start realizing, oh, I'm glad I'm FJ, especially as rare as it is. But that means you're kind of alone, because nobody else understands it, because you're 2% of the population are on FJs, and the rest are a bunch of chuckleheads. So the chuckleheads live in their world, you live in this world. So they look at you funny, and you look at them going, what a fucking idiot. Like, how do you not know that? So that's really the key to it, is just finding that out. So anyway, let's see. So we went over the car dealerships. They're going to go out of business because they can't sell their product. And that's why I'm telling you to get out of the car stocks. You cannot, people only have so much money. And this is the danger with fiat money, with this. They print too much. So but you can't get it back. So if I print a lot, I can't get it back. If I can't get it back, what do? They start raising interest rates, which causes havoc, because with higher interest rates, the prices go up. Well, now I can't buy it because of that. What the hell are you? So if you're on gold, you don't even use interest rates. Yeah, they're very programmed. Well, I think that's the matrix, Bobby. They're just go through life and they small talk it. And his concern is, oh, Jenny was wearing a blue dress and or did you hear she's cheating on her husband? All the bullshit shit that it's like you don't care about. I always like the girls to be happy. So if my girl sees a guy, I go, you want to go? Go. It's fine with me. I trust her. And then they never go, because they want to be with you because you're an INFJ. But I'm just like, I want you to be happy. Do what makes you happy. I'm not going to be jealous because I'm above that. I'm not. I couldn't get jealous, so it doesn't bother me, because I can move on if I need to, right? But most of the time the girl's not leaving you because they can't find anybody close, which is always what I said, right? I'm willing to compete with the girl has a boyfriend, right? You meet a girl, oh, I got a boyfriend. And you're like, I'll compete with him because he can't touch me. Now I know why, because I'm an INFJ. The guy, I'll kill the guy, right? He won't have a chance against me. So now I understand why I say that. And I mean it. I'm very confident with that. The gossipy, yeah, I mean, that's all, it's terrible. I like how our gossip is gold and silver, or the girls or something. It's all very good gossip. It's not bullshit. It's not meaningless. Ours always has meanings. So buy your gold and silver before it gets out. Back to the car dealer. So that's why I tell you don't buy stock in it, because how are they going to make profit? They can't sell the cars. They're too expensive. And if so, I look at all the products that are too expensive and I'm saying their stock's going to go down. You're going to pay $1,500 for an iPhone? No. Or the iPhone's going to reduce their prices to $200 and $300 because they can't sell it, because who the fuck's buying a $1,500 phone? Nobody. So if you're not buying the phone, how are they going to make profit? They're not. Sell your Apple, sell the iPhone, sell, now Apple's being held by the JP Morgans and the BlackRocks and the Vanguards. They're printing the money and pushing it into the stock. That's not market. And that's what I was telling the Bitcoin guy about. They're putting it in. If somebody just puts money into your company, that's not supply and demand. I doubt Bitcoin is supply and demand. I doubt people are buying it. Okay, people think I'm buying it at 20,000 because it's going to 40. Why? Well, I don't know, but it is. So who's selling it at 23? Only people that bought it at 10, I guess, or 15. So you bought it at 6, you're selling it at 23. Maybe, and that's fine, but that's all I see. You get kicked, Bobby? I saw there was a little YouTube. Okay, should be back. So that's what I'm telling you. So I don't know if Bitcoin's supply and demand is who's keeping the Bitcoin, who's buying the Bitcoin, who's keeping the price. Is there a little counter that says Joe bought Bitcoin and therefore the price is, let's raise the price? I mean, if I'm 23,000, I pay 23,000, where's the price go? Doesn't go anywhere. It's going up or down. Yeah, it just froze again. Yeah, but now it's back. I saw, and then now I'm at 42 seconds and now I'm at 43 and it's stopping and now I'm at 50. So it seems like it's a YouTube problem. Yeah, I see that. But it's just YouTube. I noticed I tried to get on YouTube on my TV and I couldn't get in, but it wasn't an internet. I went to another channel. I went to Netflix and it was working. Yeah, I see big jumps. Now it keeps freezing and going and it'll go 39. I have to give it a second to now it went to 57. So there's a lot of freezing and jumps. Yeah, it keeps freezing, but I can see I'm still on. So anyway, now I lost my concentration. So that's why I tell you, see, things that are dependent on interest rates are stocks we don't want to be in. Cars, fixed assets, they're building houses, things like that. You want to, like Caterpillar, anything with high fixed cost are going to have these higher interest rates to pay. So it's going to make it more expensive. So people are going to buy less of it, and if they don't raise their price, how are they going to sell it? And am I watching any video tonight? I'll turn on YouTube for a little bit, and I've been doing that when I'm on the bike now. I'll just go to the YouTube and watch something. Like I watched Egon yesterday on the bike to watch him again. I'll tend to, I watch a movie, so I'll go to Tubi and watch, or I'll go to Roku, and then I go to Netflix. I tend to wait till I'm in bed because I don't have a TV in my bedroom. I take my laptop and I'll put on Netflix there. I don't have Roku on it, so the Rokus or stuff like that I'll watch here, and then I'll watch the Munsters. They took Vegas off, which I'm a little depressed. I like James Caan. I like seeing old Vegas, and they took it off and put the Munsters on, so I can't bet. So that's on 12-1. Then I go to bed, but that's on regular TV, which I don't have on here because I got the antenna on my TV. So I basically am watching. This thing seems okay now. It seems to be running. So I to watch some regular TV, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And then when I go to bed, I'll watch Netflix. And then I tend to watch YouTube in the morning to see what's going on and see all the idiots telling us the same thing over and over and over. There's a shortage of supply of gold and silver. Silver and gold are going to go through the roof. China is going to do this. They're not buying our goods. We're going to be in a recession. Yeah, we know that. You tell us the same fucking thing every day. We get it. But the problem is we don't know when, and you don't tell us the when, and you don't tell us the why. So I tend not to watch Malone and Peter Schiff and all these idiots. But that's kind of my night. So I go to the pool, I eat my dinner, and then I'll probably turn on a movie. If I go play poker, once it gets nicer out, I'll go walk the lake after dinner, and then I'm a little less dependent on the TV, and then things like that. But when I'm working, it's different. Then I'm getting up, going to work, and then getting home, eating dinner, and then going to the club. And so I have less time to watch it. So really, it's a blessing in disguise now that I'm off. I have more time to watch YouTube. It's tough in the fall because I'll be busy with football. So I really don't have time to watch all the sometimes during the football games, I'm watching the gold and silver stuff, right? If Egon's on or Alistair McLeod, I'll be watching them on like Friday night or Saturday during the game because I can always YouTube the game and see what happened. So I'm kind of doing that. So I'm a lot more busy during football season. So now that we're almost at the end of February, I'll be more apt to catch up on this stuff. So that's why I don't do basketball. There really isn't time, especially during football season, to get into basketball and start doing that. I don't really have the interest or the desire. I just, it's different. If the 88 Pistons were playing Chicago, it would be an easy under bet, right? Because they wouldn't even get 80-point games. Where the Lakers were a great over team, right? They'd score and they'd play 120-point games. So really, you just have that's the key to sports betting is to find the team. Who's what, right? Durant's team probably overs because you can't play defense and he scores a lot. Golden State probably an over. And then you find your under teams. And then you got the Pistons who are Z teams who have no offense and no defense. And you just who's playing what. And then you make your own line. The key is to always make your own line and then see how bad their line is. And then you take advantage of it. Now I heard there's 5.5, 6-point teasers in basketball, which could come in handy. The problem is there's so much scoring in football. If you go from 2 to 8, you score in sevens, and you don't score that many points in a game, really. So with that said, seven's a very meaningful number. To go from 2 to 8, very meaningful. In basketball, I don't know if going from 2 to 7.5 or 8 is very meaningful because you score 2s and 3s. You score a lot of 2s and 3s. So is there a number in basketball to do a teaser? I don't know that I would do teasers in basketball. That's not clear. Maybe a 2-point game, you go to 7, maybe makes sense, but maybe it doesn't. Again, I think if we look at it properly, we'll see who the dog is and the over and the under. And, we got a good under and we're getting points. Maybe we just bet it like that. Then I have to see. But we've got the methodology down. Professor, what about a grilled Polish sausage? Would that be healthy enough? Be careful with sausage, but yeah, I mean, put it with your egg. Make eggs and sausage would be fine, or mix it right in the omelet. I have bacon and eggs, so yeah. So Egan got his own channel. I don't think he does. I think he's got Bank of Switzerland, where he does his newsletter. That's why he goes on that channel. And the same thing with Alistair McLean, the Balder guy, and even Andrew McGuire. Those guys don't really have a channel. That's why As Good as Gold has them on. So it gives As Good as Gold an audience, and it gives Alistair McLean or Egon a chance to speak. So you go, wow, these guys know their shit. I'm going to get their newsletter and I'm going to do that, which is probably, maybe they make their money on the newsletter. I'm not sure. And then Andrew McGuire's on that other show, whatever it's called, Money, whatever. And that, otherwise nobody would hear the host. The host, like, get out of the way. And then the guy talks. And then when they have guests, it's really stupid because they're trying to bring in a different audience. But the problem is you don't want these idiots. You just want to hear Andrew McGuire. When they have a guest on, you're like, unless it's me, who the fuck wants to hear these guys? I don't care. I don't know. I don't agree with them. So it really turns you off because you want to listen to this Austrian's view, and then they bring on a Keynesian, and you're like, or you bring on a Wall Street guy. I don't want to listen to Wall Street guys. They're all crooks. They're all Madoffs. I can't trust anything they say. I don't want to listen to them. I want to listen to the economists, and they don't get that. So the one guy on Andrew McGuire, the Friday one, he always goes, oh, this is going to be a spectacular show. It's like, dude, you say that every week. So it devalues the fact it's going to be an amazing show because you say it every week, and they're not amazing shows. They're good information, but this is economics. We don't use the term amazing in economics, unless gold goes through the roof. But that's the thing. Those three are all in the same camp as me as far as understanding gold as money, understanding inflation, understanding fiat currency, and understanding that the gold price will go to the moon because it's the only real money as the fiat currency loses its value. So we all understand the same basic concept. The more they print, the less it's worth, and then the more it takes to buy goods and services, and the more it takes to buy the gold and silver from 35 an ounce to 1900 is because the dollar lost value. An ounce of gold's an ounce of gold. We all understand that principle, so then I can believe what they say. But when I hear these morons not understanding the concept of derivative paper gold versus actual physical gold, I immediately turn it off. And again, that's now that I understand my INFJ, it makes me understand why even more. I go, I'm hearing stuff I don't want. I don't believe. He's wrong. Why should I listen to it? So there's no reason to listen to the guy if he doesn't get the basic principle that COMEX is derivative paper gold. It's not the real price of physical. It's not supply and demand, which is why I was skeptical that Bitcoin is supply and demand. And therefore, anything he says, he's too stupid to listen to. So I immediately turn it off because I understand the guy's an idiot. Because if you knew what was going on, you would know that physical gold is not what the gold price is. And COMEX is derivative paper gold. And it's not the real price of physical gold. So that's the most basic concept. So if they can't handle, if they think the paper gold is the price of gold, there's nothing if you can't get that, you what are you doing out here? Why are you thinking that's the price of gold? And so therefore, what else am I going to listen to? So it goes back to the communist at the pool. Whatever you tell me is worthless. You want to study communism. You want to read Karl Marx, and you're stupid enough to tell me you read Karl Marx. And I'll just say, go read Adam Smith if you want to, if you want to get intelligent and understand what the fuck's going on. Read Adam Smith. Don't read Karl. And so if I have a conversation of gold and the guy, oh, I don't believe in it, there's nothing more for me to talk to because the guy's too stupid to have a conversation with. So I catch that right away. So I tell people, see how their view is on gold and silver. And if they don't get it, there's no reason to have a conversation with them. We're not here to make friends with these idiots in the hot tub. I'm here to take a hot tub and work out and get into shape and get my back better. My foot's fine, be healthy, eat right, and live a healthy life. So that's what I'm trying to do. And my mind too. The workout a lot is for your mind. Running in the pool is great for your mind, and on the bike. It's for your mind. It's not for your body. And so why do I want to have, I don't want to have a conversation with an imbecile, and I'm not in the hot tub to make friends, right? Unless it's Jenna or Dari in the hot tub with me, I'm not there to make friends. So therefore, on vacation, and I'm with Jenna, talking. But in the hot tub at the health club or at the gym, I am not really there to make friends. Fine, I make a few friends, but we're INFJs. We're on different wavelengths. So unless they're on our wavelength, we're just not there. That's not my goal. I'll be friendly. I'll say hello. And then if they want to have a goal talk with me, we'll have a goal talk. Then I can educate them, right? But if they don't believe in goal, I can't educate them. There's no point in talking to them. And that's really my point at a hot tub, will be to educate, not to say, how's the baby and that. Although I will tell people, I'll say, do you know your personality type? And they'll go, no. And I go, well, you should find out what yours is and find out what your kid's is, because you won't understand your kid. You got to understand yourself, and then you got to understand your kid. And then you can have a nice, loving relationship with your kid. But if you think your kid's the same personality type as you, you're out of your mind. I know my kids are not INFJs. No way. So, but you gotta like I said, when I coached softball, the girls softball, I had to teach them how to hit or how to throw. And I had learned different techniques, because if I would explain it one way and the lights didn't go on, their eyes didn't get it, I had to try a different method till it might be 4 methods till the girl found, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. But that's your job, is to get the light on, and you got to do it different ways. You do it different ways. But if you're not smart enough to see the lights on, what the fuck you doing? You're not getting it. Then you're just wasting everybody's time. Last meal would be at 5 p.m. today. Okay, Bobby, the professor got about 3 hours on me. Got about 3 hours on me. So it's fairly big gym. It's a community gym. It's a city gym, which I don't like the government part of it. But it's got, a big 9-length Olympic type of pool with a bulkhead that goes. So the lanes are going this way, and then there's a bulkhead, and I'm in the bulkhead at about 5'5". So it comes up to here. Yesterday it was like 7 feet, and they wouldn't adjust it. So then I had to go into the other pool where the hot tub is. There's a big area where the bikes skates, and then there's a few bikes and treadmills in the middle with more TVs. Then there's a gym that they play basketball. There's 2 or 3 courts, and kids to play games. And then there's a back place where they're playing a lot of floor hockey, I see. So they got that. They got a upstairs where there's a track. There's a judo and karate center. So it's a pretty big place. That's there. So from that standpoint, and it's cheap. And so I go there every day to get out and talk to people, and B, take a hot tub. You know how the tubs are in the apartments. They never fill up, and, so I don't mind taking a hot tub. And then, so I get on the bike, and then I take a hot tub, and then I do my swim workout and run workout in the pool. Then I take another hot tub, and then I'll color my hair there or shampoo there, and then come home and have dinner, and we'll turn on the TV. And then I'm just really waiting for the girls. It's frustrating with the war, because I'd have been with one of the girls already if their war wasn't on. They would have moved here, and then I'll have some fun too. But so it's a little frustrating for me that I can't be with them, but I have the girls, so it's frustrating, because when I meet a girl here, I got girls. I got girls that I like, that I enjoy, and we have a good time together, and they're very nice, and that's what I want to be with. So they get me, and I get them. So there's really no point, so I'm really not looking for a girl here. And then in the pool, it's hard because if there is a pretty girl, chances are she's with her husband or her boyfriend, or all of a sudden she's got her kids. So a lot of families go and the little kids are swimming, and so very rarely you're seeing a girl there by herself. And I don't really go to bars because it's boring. I don't drink, so what if I go into a bar and it's expensive and I think in terms of money? So pretty much here or at the lake or something, or at poker. Poker is very enjoyable because it's a nice challenge type of thing. Or anyway, I have no idea if my parents were INFJs. I doubt my mom was because she wouldn't help. My dad, maybe. Remember, an INFJ, the way to spot them is they want to help. And I don't get a lot of people that want to help me. I want to help people. So I'm pretty obvious that if you know what an INFJ is, you would see that I'm trying to help, that you could get a feel that I am. But my parents were not big helpers, I don't think. I feel like I am pretty much the only, I have a good family, but none of them, we're so rare. There's not a lot of us. But yeah, I mean, we want to help people. We're very intuitive and psychic, but don't cross us type of thing. So like the communists probably have no idea why I don't talk to them, but there's no point in it. Where are we going to go, communists? You're going to talk about Karl Marx. Why would I want to talk about Karl? See, that's where I don't want to talk small talk. Now, if you wanted to talk gold and silver, or you want to see, I want to explain Adam Smith to him and kind of teach him economics, but he doesn't want to listen. He wants to talk Karl Marx. Where that conversation's going, there's no reason to have the conversation. I don't want to be friends with you because you're a communist. We can't have a communication because you believe that Karl Marx, you believe that capitalism's bad. That's what you told me. You're not into gold and silver. I said, so why do you want to just, be broke? And he says, well, if the dollar goes out, I'll go out with it. Well, I can't help you. So there's no point of moving on to somebody that stupid, right? So that's all you can say to him is I'm not going to casually say, I don't just casually say hi to somebody. I'll say hi to the lifeguards, and we're kind of friendly. Like my buddy will be there tonight. She's the one with the health, she's the one that gave us the Mullen and stuff like that. She'll be there tonight. She's supposed to bring my drinks, some sugar, they're non-sugar, like blueberry shakes type of drinks. So she's supposed to bring me those. So I should probably bring an ounce of silver to give to her, because I don't have any money after I lost in poker, where I had some 20s in my pocket. So I got to find some money for her. But anyway, so that's kind of what my day. How about PBD? I don't understand. What's a PBD video? You what? PBD. I don't know what that is, Bobby. I need a little bit more definition on a PBD. PBD. I have no idea. Pro Basketball Daily, Pro Baseball Daily, Bobby Bove videos, the Bobby Bove shoe. I don't know. PBD. No, I need a little bit more info, Bobby. But anyway, so that's really the point. So we're so as I was talking, I'll repeat the stocks because I know it was freezing. So we know that interest rates are rising, so the cost of items are up. So therefore, don't be in stocks of interest sensitive stocks. That's why I'm out of the cars, the builders, the Caterpillars, things with high fixed costs. Their costs have gone up. Their earnings are going to drop. So I want to be in Coca-Cola and Pepsi because you gotta eat and drink. And even though their interest rate hikes don't really affect the price a little bit. So the Pepsi warehouse cost maybe went up a little, but it's not too bad. It's something that, it's $2. That's fine. Patrick Bet David. What the hell is that, Bobby? Patrick Bet David. Who's Patrick and who's David? I'm still not with you, Bobby. Patrick Bet David. I don't know. Never heard of it. Anyway, so when interest rates are zero, you wanted to be in the autos. People are going to buy the autos. It's cheap. But now that interest rates are going up, you don't have that. Now, I was watching Kramer, happened to be on where I'm on the bicycle, right? So I'm at the gym. I have no choice. I got to watch this moron. He doesn't understand what inflation is. He thinks it's, he says, well, the Fed's raising rates to lower prices and kill and stop inflation. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a freaking idiot too. I think he's a communist. I think he is too. This Jim Cramer and the stock pick show. So he's not anybody to listen to either. He doesn't get what inflation is. And so he doesn't, he would never say gold and silver. He doesn't get it. So if I met that guy, I would not say hello and I would not have a conversation with him, because I would say I'm into gold and silver, and he'd say I'm not, and I'm a communist, and I could point him to the communists, say, why don't you have a talk with Karl Marx over here? But it just shows you've got to know the person. Like I saw Patrick Ben David. Okay, so he's on YouTube. I think I've seen him once or twice. TV station tells him what to say. Okay. I think it's Patrick Ben David, not Bet David. So I thought it was like Patrick's betting David, but it's a Jewish guy. Ben David, I believe, is what you're saying. It could be. I think a lot of these guys are told what to say. That's why I don't listen to them. I think that's what they're doing. That's why they're saying what they're saying, is because the stations are paying them to go on, which is why he's often wrong about everything and steers people in the complete wrong direction. Okay, so when I met the lady at the gold store, and I met her 2 years ago, and we went to lunch, and I taught her Austrian economics. And she says, I try to get all the information I can and listen. And I told her, you got to be careful who you listen to. You got to listen to Austrian economists. You cannot listen to the Keynesians. And she did not remember there's two types of economics, Keynesians, communists. You don't want to listen to the communists. You're going to get fucked, like you're just saying. He's from Iran. Yeah, okay. I never heard of them. I will not listen to. I've got my guys, right? So just stick with Egon and Alistair and Andrew Maguire. Just stick with those three guys. Well, we know gold and silver is being bought. We know they're working on a gold standard. We know they're working on a gold market price. We know COMEX is fixed. We know there's becoming a shortage of gold and silver because all the central banks are buying it. So we know all that, Bobby. So what new stuff are you gonna pick up? So that's my point. We know interest rates are we know there's a war in Ukraine and Russia that's run by the U.S. We know China wants to invade Taiwan. So we get all that. Is there anything new? Okay, the train crash in Ohio. Okay, what's going on with that? And then so, it's like the train crash. That's what we want to pick up on a day-to-day, but we know we're just waiting for the gold and silver to go through the roof. We're waiting for the U.S. to collapse the dollar. That's what we know it's there. We're just waiting for it. So there's not much else we can do or say. There's another guy that's like this guy, and he's one of those Middle Eastern guy who's here, and he'll have guests on and they'll talk about whatever. And maybe that's the same guy, but yeah, he seems really like a simpleton, and he doesn't know anything. So you got to be careful with those. You got to be careful with these new guys. They'll have a guest on. That's why they sometimes have Alistair McLeod on or Andrew Maguire. to get them on the channel to make them look like they're Austrians. And then the next guest, like this guy today that I was showing you, he's had Alistair. He had Alistair on last week. Now he's got this guy. So I started watching him. Oh, gold's going down to 1,200, and you're like, what the hell? No, there's no recession. You're like, who the fuck is this? Now you're questioning the whole guy, the show. If I see this guy, I turn it right off. I mean, it's like these guys are morons. So you immediately start seeing that they're morons and running away from them. And then it gets to the point, look, I'll just watch my guys. I know what's going on. And when we wake up and gold's at 20,000 an ounce, then we'll be like, okay, right now it's just keep going. So anyway, that's where I'm at. So yeah, I'm waiting for a job. And really the job's to buy gold. That's why I go to work now, to buy gold. That's why I don't really take the jobs too seriously, but I'll be effective there. I mean, I'll try to solve problems and do my work, but it's like, okay, I'm here for the paycheck because this is what the job is. You're paying me for my skill set to do the work, and the work's getting done. That's what we're doing. And, but I'm not going to do the other bullshit. I don't care about it. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing. So anyway, anything else, Bobby? So again, stay out of the stock market. I mean, so this is all about making money and protecting yourself. So we're buying gold and silver to really protect ourselves because we know this is going to zero because they're printing it. So we always look at action reacts. The action of you printing this to death creates this to lose its value. And then the act of you sanctioning Russia makes the other countries scared you're going to sanction them, because if you sanction Russia, are you going to sanction Saudi Arabia and Iran and other countries? Absolutely. So if you're going to sanction them, if you're going to sanction Russia, you might sanction us. So we want to get out of the dollar. It's sort of like an INFJ slamming the door going, we don't want anything to do with the U.S. We all want to get out. And then their comment is, well, who are you going to go to? And that's why you go to gold, because gold it can't raise the interest rate on you, and it can't coerce you. You own the gold, Nobody can tell you. There's no third-party risk. And the third party, like here, the third party is the government. They can inflate it and lose the value. Gold, they can't. There's nobody there. It's you own the gold, it's yours. And the value will go up. The government can try to coerce the value down like JP Morgan does, but it's only temporarily, and then it's going to go to its true value. Hell yeah, said it's all about investing, Professor. Well, a lot of it's survival, Bobby. We want to make sure we can eat and pay our bills. And if we keep our money and if we keep this, we're not going to be able to. It's as simple as that. So what we realize, this is going to zero, which we know. What do we do with it? How do we then, do we do nothing and bury our heads in the sand, or we understand what's going on and go protect ourselves? They're all complex, so I'm going to go protect ourselves, and I'm going to tell people I'm trying to protect you. Some people will get it, and some people won't. Some people will look at me like, well, what do you know? Oh, you only got a master's in Austrian economics. What do you know? I don't even know what Austrian economics is, and I'm not going to stick around for you to tell me. And then I don't like you because you're an INFJ and you intimidate me, or you make me feel like an idiot because you're 20 times smarter than me. And that's what we face as INFJs, and also about gold and silver. People look at gold and silver going, it doesn't go up in value, as if it's a stock. They look at Bitcoin as it's a stock. Oh, it's an investment. It's at 20, it's going to 50. Why? Well, I don't know. I don't ask why. I just bet the Super Bowl. I took Philadelphia because they beat the Giants and they beat San Francisco. Well, did you know Frisco's quarterback got hurt? No, I really didn't care about it. I just think that Philadelphia's a better team. They got Jalen Hurts. So I'm taking them over Kansas City. You do realize Kansas City's got Mahomes and Bobby both bet on Kansas City. Yeah, I don't care. I think Philadelphia, they don't get it. They just do things mechanically without any knowledge of connecting the dots or really understanding what they're doing or why. And so what I try to do is connect the dots and tell you the why. And people smart enough get it and listen and go, yeah. And the rest of the people want to argue with it or want to think they want to challenge me that they know more. I'm not saying I'm the smartest man in the world, and I'm not saying people don't know more than me. But what I do know, I know very well. I know gold and silver extremely well, or betting, especially football betting, better than anybody. So you can challenge me there. Bobby, yeah, they just keep making a big deal of the Eagles' regular season record and their beating of the New York Giants, who suck. Well, but you realize the Giants suck. And then you realize the Niners lost Brock Purdy, and I guess he was going to have surgery, but he still has his elbow still swollen. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I watched the game. It was a normal pass, but what the hell happened to him? I like to measure the competition and know that there's no way they will stop Mahomes because he's not Daniel Jones. Well, the problem with the Eagles, they only played Aaron Rodgers was the only quarterback they played, and they gave up 33 points. And then Dak Prescott played the second game, and they put up 40 on him. But I think whatchamacallit, so that might have gave Dallas some points. Whatchamacallit, I don't know, their backup quarterback. But anyway, most of their games was the Giants in Washington with no quarterbacks and Indy and Jacksonville. So they played a really weak team. But my point was they don't understand that. So they think they're going to beat KC in the Super Bowl because look how good they are. And my point is they haven't beaten anybody. So we really don't know. And that's why I was disappointed. I wanted to see the Niners play a whole game. And I think the Niners would have beat them had they played the whole game. But I thought it would be a close game, which is why I went under in the game, because I really couldn't decide because Philly was an unknown quantity. Just like when you mentioned in your analysis about not putting much money, not any real stock at all when an Alabama beats a Utah State by 30, it's irrelevant when they face, Yeah, I got that. Well, it's who you play. It's your level, especially in college, right? TCU beating Michigan, I wasn't surprised because they beat Kansas State and they beat Oklahoma and they beat Texas and they beat Oklahoma State and they beat Iowa State. So TCU beat a lot of good teams, and everybody was ignoring them. Like the whole Big 12 sucks. At least here in Michigan, Michigan, they didn't beat anybody either. And then they beat Ohio State, but it was a really weird game. And I don't like Michigan's quarterback, and I didn't think their defense was on. And then when the running back got hurt, I knew TCU will score on them because of the Oklahoma game. So once I saw that and I go, okay, now I got TCU, they were a very live dog against Michigan. But when they played Georgia, the bet of the over was more valuable than taking the 20 points. As it turned out, they got killed. But the over was the play, and that's what I ended up taking the over. So I knew TCU didn't have a good defense, but after watching Georgia come back against Ohio State 43-42, I knew A, Georgia's scoring, and B, their defense isn't as good. So I was expecting a 40-30 game. But I wasn't sure about taking the 20. I was more apt, let's go over in that one. It's like when Dak was a rookie Mississippi State and he would kill the BS teams, but then would struggle against, I remember the Alabama game and he struggled. All he needed was the touchdown. He couldn't do it. But that's the whole point. That's why I bitch about Trevor Lawrence against the good teams, Ohio State and LSU or Alabama. He doesn't show up. And the same thing with Tagliavoa. Didn't show up against Georgia, didn't show up against LSU, didn't show up. I don't think they played Ohio State, maybe Clemson. He didn't show up in those games. That's why they didn't win the title. The only year they won the title, he backed up Hurts, which is why I'm not a Hurts fan, because in the big game, he sucked and he had to be replaced. So he's not Joe Montana, but that's what I'm looking for. But Joe Burrow is, because he sliced up everybody, including Alabama and Clemson, with 50-point games. So that's why I like Burrow, because if he could do that in college against those teams, what's he going to do? So anytime I get them as a dog, I bet them. That's why I was pissed to get in the Buffalo game. I had them as a dog, and they beat KC as a dog. And then, fortunately, in the championship game, they were a dog. And then I bet Cincinnati and Mahomes with the Ric Flair bullshit. That's when you can tell if a quarterback got true potential. Like, well, that's exactly the point. It's against the good competition. That's what you're looking for. That's why that's why I don't like any of the Alabama players. They don't play anybody, and then they avoid Georgia. It's funny how they never cross over with Georgia or Florida. Usually, it's Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and Missouri or something. So they avoid all the good teams in the crossover, and usually their teams, Mississippi State suck. A&M always tends to suck, and then it's maybe LSU gets good one year or Tennessee gets good one year, and Auburn once in a while plays well, but otherwise they don't play much. But everybody wants to think the SEC is a big conference. Well, Auburn sucked, and LSU sucked, and Mississippi State sucked, A&M sucked. Where do you see this conference being good? It was really Georgia and Tennessee had a great offense, but, that's the other thing. So I think I would take Hooker, if I could get Hooker, like, let's say in the third round because he's injured, but I think he'll be okay. I'll take that guy. Now, keep in mind, Tennessee's offense is a very skewed one also. It's the coach is a very good offensive coach, like TCU's. So are they as good as they show on the field? Because it's the system, which is my argument with Alabama and Ohio State. Ohio State's totally the system. That's why none of the quarterbacks do good. But these stupid announcers, I heard some guy on the radio going, "Oh, so you think it's just because he's at Ohio State?" And I'm like, it's the system at Ohio State. It's not a pro system. That's why none of the quarterbacks are good. If Joe Fields played at LSU after Burrow and did what he did, I would say, yeah. Or if he played at Georgia, or if he played at UCLA or Washington or Washington State, if he played at Illinois or Iowa and did what he does, then I'd say he's a good quarterback. Not at Ohio State, not at Alabama. These are not good quarterbacks. And what do? Here comes the promo. Oh, the number 1 and 2 picks are Alabama, Ohio State's quarterback. And they're going to do shit in the pros because they're not good and it's all the system. I mean, how many times do you see Bryce Young throw to a wide open receiver in the end zone against New Mexico State? How many times is he going to see that in the pros? 0. Look at Devontae Smith in the pros. In college, he was all over the place because he was fast, and he was always wide open, and he'd make the catch. I didn't see him. Maybe he caught one ball for Phil in the Super Bowl. Maybe he caught one ball, and he was covered. He was never wide open. So, what are you talking about? And Jalen Hurts, all I remember in the Super Bowl is him doing a quarterback sneak, not him throwing the ball. I don't remember any. He had a few. He throws to the tight end. They're miracle catches. It's like a forced throw that he never should have made. It's late because the guy's being covered and the guy makes a miraculous catch. And you want to say, what a great throw. And you're like, it's a horrible throw. You watch Joe Montana and he's throwing to Dwight Clark who's wide open. That's the scheme. But Montana would move you down the field, where I don't see that with these other guys. Maybe with Burrow, Mahomes, yes. Mahomes is a lot like Montana. He'll take the little 5-10-yard passes and dink and dunk you down. And when he needs to run for 10 yards, he can. But it's on a need-to-know basis. and then he hits Kelsey wide open. He doesn't miss him. He hits him in the chest, and he's wide open. He sees that and throws it to him. You don't see Hurts do that. You see Hurts run, so oh, he's a runner. Oh, my God, he must be good. He runs. Auburn was only fun that one year when Gus Malzahn, first year with Nick Marshall. Yeah, and that was ironic because they were great, and then the quarterback goes on, and then he needs a running quarterback, and then where did the offense go? So, yeah, he was just a one-hit wonder, Gus Malzahn. Now he's at a small school, I think. A MAC school or something like that. I don't know where he's at, something small. He's a good coach to bet in the small conferences because he's tricky and he's got a good offense. But, yeah, he didn't, I liked him as a coach, but he couldn't do it. He's at UCF. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I like UCF. I mean, with him, he'll get you points. So that's good. But that's where he's at. So, yeah, but that's the same thing with Sonny Dykes is what, TCU, and then you got all of a sudden Washington got the Fresno State coach, and they're lighting it up. And look at Penix at Indiana. He sucked. He had a good year, and then the last year he sucked, and then he went to Washington with the Fresno State coach, and he lit it up with the Fresno State coach. Is a good offensive mind. Now, what's impressive is Jake Hayner, the Fresno State quarterback, loses the coach, gets hurt, and still has a good year. That guy I would take in the first round. But he's too and these radio hosts. So for the Alabama quarterback who's 5'6", he's height's not a problem. But for everybody else who's small, height's a problem. It's just they're so two-faced. It's just ridiculous. What do you think about UCLA and USC moving to the Big Ten next? I don't understand it. I don't understand what the point of anything is. Why do you have to move conferences? Obviously, it's the TV contract, so they want the bigger cut of the money is really what it's all about. But I don't get the point. I mean, so what? Ohio State's going to go play at USC or UCLA for recruiting? I mean, that's what they used to do. That's why Notre Dame plays UCLA is to recruit Southern Cal. And I don't know what Southern Cal comes to Notre Dame for. You're not recruiting. There's not much in Indiana for football, but maybe they come to Michigan and Ohio. There's a lot in Ohio anyway. So maybe they go there. Then why don't they play Ohio State? But I don't really understand it. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with the Pac-10, or I'm still with the Pac-8. Arizona and Arizona State moved in. It's the Pac-10 now. I never understood Colorado going there or Utah. I don't see how Colorado fits in the Pac-10. I don't see how West Virginia fit in the Southwest Conference. That must be fun for Oklahoma and Texas to travel to West Virginia every year. And then West Virginia goes to Texas. Like, what the fuck is that all about? So I never really understood that. I don't know. They want these super conferences. I don't get that either. What the hell difference does that make? I think it's actually called Pac-12. Yeah, I know. I want to call it the Pac-8 before Arizona and Arizona State were in it. The 4 California, the 2 Oregon, and the 2 Washington. That's the Pac-8. That's what I'm at. It made sense. It's the Pacific. Why are there conferences at all then? I don't follow the logic, right? Why do we have a conference? And then why are we calling the Big 10, the Big 12? It's what, the Big 17 now? The Southeast Conference doesn't make sense if you got Texas teams. Now you got Oklahoma in there. The ACC is pretty much Atlantic Coast Conference. Well, I guess what's the point of the conference? And then tell me the point, and then tell me the movement. It makes no sense. The way it's going is going to be the Pac-15. Well, it's going to be the Big 30, and the Southeast Conference will get the other 30. And then you'll have divisions. So what'll happen is the Big 10 it'll be the Big 20, and the rest of the Pac-10 will come in, and then you'll have divisions in the Big 10 and the Big 20, and there'll be the Big 10 conference, there'll be the Pac-12 conference, there'll be the ACC conference. So the subdivision conferences will be what they are. I mean, what is the point? Like, who gives a fuck? Who's playing and who am I betting on? It's all I care about is who's USC, who are they playing, and who am I going to bet on? Otherwise, I think there's like a fee the teams pay to join the league. So that's what it's about. I don't get the SEC, why Oklahoma and Texas are joining. What's wrong with the Big 12? You had a big what am I missing? What is it about? Is it about the money so they get a bigger chunk of the pie? Can't your conference get a big chunk of the pie? Can't the Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma get a big chunk of the pie like Alabama and Auburn? What's the difference? Maybe Georgia should have their own conference because they're better than everybody else. Nobody else can play, so it should be Georgia, and they get in the playoff every year. It's going to fuck the playoffs because you had 8 or 10 conferences, so you can take the conference champs, and they make the playoffs. Now what are you going to do? Well, there are going to be 8 teams from the Big 10, and there are going to be 8 teams from the Southeast Conference and Notre Dame, and, I guess there'll still be a Big 12. I think Utah is going to the Big 12 where they used to be, and Colorado, and I don't know about the Arizonas or the Oregon. Like, what the fuck? Why don't they all join the Mountain West? I don't understand it. It's purely financial, but I don't get it. I heard that Oklahoma and Texas was supposed to make a move to the SEC, but not anymore. Where are they, staying in the Big 12, or are they coming to the Big 10? Join the party. We can have Oklahoma, Nebraska again. See, that's the problem what they're missing. You had huge demand for the Oklahoma-Nebraska game, and now you don't play it anymore. What the fuck is that? Why would you stop that game, just like Notre Dame, USC? You have huge demand. It's going to sell out. It's going to be national TV. Never stop that game. Michigan, Ohio State, never stop that game. The few rivalries you have, you never stop because you got demand and you can get a lot in commercials and everybody's going to watch it. That's what you want. USC, UCLA, so I don't get why they would stop it. Week 1 game against is going to be interesting. Florida at Utah. Utah will kill them because they still have Rising and it's revenge. But we still about 8 months too early to discuss that one. Well, that's what that was a big bet I had last year. I had Utah in 4 or 5, and they won. They should have won the game. They were at the end zone. They're at the 1-yard line late and Rising through the interception because the receiver didn't run the right route or whatever. But Utah will kill them because Florida is not good outside, and Utah is very good in the mountains. So that's a nice little revenge game. But my guess is Utah -7 would be my guess, and then we're taking Utah -1. I mean, as long as Rising's okay. He did hurt his knee in the game. He didn't just quit. I don't know if there's complications or he'll be ready to go, but, and that's what you got to understand about football. There's the injuries. So that's what kills me. 2 things kill me about the pros when they don't have backups. Like the Lions back. First of all, Goff sucks anyway, but the backup is, I don't know who. I remember them talking like Stafford didn't want competition, so they never brought in a good backup. Well, this is football. You must have a good backup for every position. This is why you don't pay $40 million for a quarterback, because then you can't bring in good defensive players and certainly not going to have good backups. That's what New England did. The only thing they did well was they underpaid Brady. For some reason, he allowed it. And then they were able to bring in, so they never paid a lot for their receivers or their running backs. They always had poor receivers and running backs. And then their defense was always pretty good. So what they did was said, we have Brady, but we're not going to pay you full amount. They probably bought him an island, or I'm sure you got paid under the table. And then you've got the defense where they paid more. And then if there was an injury, they'd be okay. And then the receivers sucked and the running backs sucked. And I guess they had a pretty good offensive line. So they chose not to get good receivers or running backs, but a good defense, and you had Brady. So that's why without Brady, you can't have bad receivers and bad running backs because Brady would make them look good. Without Brady, your receivers suck. Mac Jones sucks, and now your defense should be okay because you're not paying Mac Jones anything. So from that standpoint, that's the model. So then you get a team like Miami, and you got Waddle. Okay, so you don't have to pay him now because he's in the rookie contract. And then you bring in Tyreek Hill and pay him $30 million. Tagliabue is in the rookie contract. So once they get out of the rookie contract, they'll never sign Waddle and Tagliabue. And then they got Hill at $30 million. So you can't pay a wide receiver $30 million. Where they're coming up with it is just beyond me. It's just stupid. How anybody's worth $30 million shows you the value of $30 million, how low that is. Because, I mean, to me and you, it's a lot of money, but apparently they're paying receivers $30 million. They're out of their freaking minds, and they're getting away from the running backs. And it all goes to the new norm here where we're going to pay. No. You need good receivers. You want Barry Sanders on your team and Walter Payton. These are the guys that you need, not the receivers. You can pick up a nickel dime receiver anywhere. Tyreek Hill on Miami, they don't make the playoffs. Kansas City doesn't even have Tyreek Hill. They win the Super Bowl. So it's Mahomes and Kelsey's really what you need, and then enough little guys. And that's really, they won the Super Bowl, so you can't bitch. Philadelphia gets there with Brown and Devontae Smith, but Devontae Smith didn't do much. He had one good catch. And for some reason goes out of bounds at the 2-yard line without being touched. I thought that was really weird. But not any better than Andre St. Brown of the Lions, who was a 5th-round pick. So that's my point. Never get a receiver in the first round. Never get a tight end in the first round, and never pick an offensive lineman in the first round. They're just wasted picks. Now, are they doing it are they picking – my guess is they're picking offensive and defensive linemen because they're cheaper, right? You draft a guard with the 10th pick in the draft. It must not cost you nearly as much as a quarterback or a running back or something. That's all I can think about. I'm sure the professor will have that as redemption bet this year. Well, of course. I agree, Professor. It's all about the quarterback and a decent coach. And good luck finding a decent coach, by the way. Well, you mean a revenge bet? Yeah. Well, it's just Florida's better in the swamp and Utah's much better in the mountains. So Utah played a very good game last year and didn't win. I know one of our guys came on berating me about Utah in that Florida, and but they covered. See, that's why we played Teasers. I had 4 or 5 points. They lost by 1. So, or 1 or 2, but maybe they were down 3. I think they could have kicked a field goal to tie or something, but that's okay. I won the money, right? And so I always laugh at that. Like, I didn't get it wrong with the teaser at 1. That's why we play teasers, because we take losers and make them winners. I haven't done the math on my picks this year. I bet I was at least 80% in college picking the teaser and probably 70% in pros. But in the last, probably from November on, I was probably 80% there. Good luck finding anybody who can come within 20% of me, because you can't. Only people that only put up their winners on their websites and who don't explain their videos. Most of the people don't have the balls to do what I do live, right? They can't pick football live, and they certainly can't talk economics live. I mean, I don't have a script. I know it all. I do have my notes from college when getting the definition of hyperinflation correct, or looking at the medium of exchange so I can make sure I can explain it properly. That's my notes, but I don't need a note to know what a medium of exchange is or things like that. My only issue with the rising, Professor, is that choke job at the row. He did not choke, Bobby. He got hurt early in the third quarter. So at halftime, the score, I think Utah's up a little bit. It's either tied or they're up 7. And he did not choke. He got injured. He hurt his knee early in the third quarter. That's why he didn't play. That's why they lost. If he stays healthy, Utah easily wins the game. So that's kind of that was my point with him. He didn't choke. He hurt his knee. And I got to check the status. Hopefully he's okay. That's like Brock Purdy. That's like saying Brock Purdy choked. Yeah, he against Ellis, really. Against Philadelphia, he was 4 for 4 for 40 yards and gets hurt on a stupid play that he should have been aware of the blitz coming and been able to get out of it. Like our Tennessee quarterback did, who didn't see that the cornerback was blitzing, so he got hit as a fumble and Jacksonville scored to win when he should never have done that. Speaking of the real deal, I heard that Evander the Real Holyfield is renting an apartment in Philly as he lost most of his millions. Someone needs to tell him to buy medals. Well, that's a perfect example. Why did he lose millions? What did he do? And then he's going to lose the rest in paper. See, it's guys like that have millions of dollars, like your Zuckerberg, like your Gates, like your Warren Buffett, like the rest of the NBA, the athletes who get all this money but don't know what to do with it, don't know what it is, don't know how to protect it, don't understand investments. These are the people that need to watch this show and understand the concept of inflation, that it's devaluing the money, that you're printing the money. Most people don't even understand that. I know before I had the class, I never understood it. I was never taught it. I took Keynesian economics and the guy talked Chinese to me. I don't know what the fuck the guy said, but I never got out of it anything that made sense. So when I took this Austrian economics class is when I first learned about inflation. I did my teacher did the same thing. The first day of class, he rips his dollar, says, "This is paper, it's worthless." That got everybody's attention, and that's why I do it here. But it's the same thing. You have to understand they print the money, and when they print it, it devalues it. So that's why this was my graduation present, because it was gold. What I didn't do, which I should have done, was bought 1,000 ounces of it at $250 an ounce. And I was married, although I would have went into the divorce, I would have only gotten half of it anyway. But that's what should have happened, right? So I should have probably went into the coin business and had the store and be selling gold and silver. It's probably what I should have done. I would have enjoyed it more. And then had a little football ticker and then selling my football. But that's the whole issue with that is once they teach you that the money becomes worthless, then your thought processes changes to protection. Now, even with all my baseball and football cards, that's still like gold. It's a different form, but it's a real asset, right? The Mantle card's the Mantle card. It has value. And now you got to get it graded to get a better value. But those cards are just like gold, except for gold. But they're an asset and they have a value, and they'll always have the Mantle card will always have a value. Like gold and silver will always have value. They'll never go to zero, and they can't print them anymore because it's a 1968 Mantle card. So you don't have to worry about them. An unstable connection, they're reconnecting. Now, normally when I get that message, it reconnects, so that's not an issue. But again, YouTube being YouTube does that. But anyway, that's what the cards. That's why I get numbered cards, because I know they can't. If I got a Tom Brady, they can't fuck with it. That's all there is 25, and it's easier to sell as limited because it says 12 out of last 25 on it. Then I know it's limited, it'll hold its value, and that's what I'm looking for. And as this goes, the cards aren't really going with that yet, but they're in the inflation, so they should be what will happen to a lot of these cars. They'll go. It's still an asset. I'm sure you probably have in your back. You didn't do steroids. You're one of the few. It's stopping. Connection unstable. So I don't know. I don't know if it's been 3 hours or what, but now it's back. And now it's getting back. So I don't know if it's a you or the Russians are fucking around with it. But anyway, so that's why you buy assets. That was the key to the dollar. But that's what Holyfield and these guys need to understand. That's why Buffett's going to go broke, because he's got $2 billion in a worthless asset such as dollars. It's going to be worth zero. Why not buy the gold, and then as prices drop and gold goes up, you're going to do it? Does he know JP Morgan fixes it? Does he think that's going to stay? Or does he even understand it, why gold's price is low? Gold's price is low because it's fixed. It's not supply and demand. It's not like nobody demands gold. So the fact, does he even understand that concept, that JP Morgan's price fixing it? Or does he just think that it has no value because you can't use it? He doesn't get its money. He doesn't get the rest of the world's are buying it. So he's just, I think, clueless to it. And that's so that's the problem. He doesn't even understand. He just sees the price as being low, figuring, well, why would I buy it? It doesn't do anything. And you're like, hey, what an idiot. So you think 5 p.m. is a good time to stop eating? I think it's a bit early, but I think it depends on your schedule and whenever I will have my last meal of the day. I think it depends on your time frame, Bobby. See, I'm up till midnight, unwinding, watching the TV. I get up about 8:30. I'm not working. So in my mind's going, I go work out, I eat. So I like to eat at about, if it was a perfect world, probably about 6 o'clock, I would stop eating and go to the gym or go to the lake and walk, play some golf, relax. That's what I would do in a normal world. I would do that. So I probably stop about 6, but it depends how late you're up. If you go to bed at 9 or 10, then yes, it makes sense that you would quit at 5. You have an earlier day. If you're up at 6, yeah, you want to start eating by 10. You're hungry. So I get up at 8, by 12, I want to eat. So it depends on it depends on your schedule. So I would say maybe 5 hours before you go to sleep, I would eat. And then when I wake up, I'd probably want to go 3 or 4 hours and then eat. Now, so whenever your schedule is what I would do. So if you're in bed at 10, then 5 o'clock's fine. If you're in bed at midnight or 1 a.m., you probably need to eat till 6. But again, that's up to you. But as long as you're in that window, as long as you're 10 to 5, then, that's fine, or 11 to 5, whatever that window. It should be a 6-hour window. I've been getting up at 6 the past few weeks. What time do you go to bed at? You getting to bed at 10 o'clock at night, or are you getting to bed at midnight? And stop once you're really into the vegetables and the meats and the water and the eggs, you won't even get as hungry. Sometimes I eat because of the time frame, right? I want to eat by, let's say, 6 o'clock. So sometimes I'm not even hungry, and it'll be 5:30, and I go, fuck, I better eat before the window closes. Been passing out early lately on weekdays, about 10. All right, so yeah, that's about right then. So you're up at 6, but you can see how it works, right? You go to sleep at 10, you get up at 6. That's 8 hours of letting your body heal. And then, yeah, so I would think 10 and 4 or 11 and 5 would be a good time for you. I think if you get up at 6, depending if you're working out in the morning or what you're doing, you probably have a coffee or a tea at 6:30, 7, 8 o'clock, and then you don't really need to eat your omelet and your veggies until probably 11, and then have a little snack here and there, and then eat your dinner at 5-ish. That's probably fine. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be 18. It could be 17 hours, but that's the idea. Is then at 5 or 6, you're eating your steaks, or your chicken, or your pig ears, and then you're done. Right now, after that, you're done, and you're not really thinking of food. That's the key. That's my girl here. I usually work most around noon time when economics class is on. Yeah. No, I noticed that. That's good. Yeah, you just want to get in your rhythm. I mean, it's really the key is what you're eating. And then there's phases, right? So in the beginning, you might go do your 18-hour fast. I wouldn't worry so much about 20 or 21 hours. It's you do your 18, you'll notice the weight loss. Your fat will disappear. If you got put on some fat on your stomach or your sides, you'll notice that'll go. That's the best workout is the fasting, right? The little guy gets rid of all your fat by cleaning you up, and all of a sudden you look you start going, wow, my stomach's much thinner. And you're getting into your clothes much easier, and it's got nothing to do with your workout. You're not eating the crap that goes there. So you're storing your food. And what this does is allows your body to take what you stored and say, I'm going to eat it. And that's really what you're trying to do. And then you're not trying to replace it with crap. You're trying to put in healthy stuff. So what happens, I don't remember the timeline, but I think it's every 2 or 3 months, your body replaces all the cells. So you get rid of your bad cells and let your body clean the good cells, and your body cleans it. And then off you go with the clean cells, and you keep them clean. Like I said, it's like the maid comes to the house and she vacuums and dusts and cleans your bathrooms and makes your bed and cleans your sheets. And you got a nice clean house. You want to keep it clean. So that's what happens when you do this. It's like, oh, okay, everything's clean in my body now. All my cells are good. I got rid of the crap. I want to keep it clean. So you don't want to have an ice cream and a cake and a bagel. You want to, I'll have my broccoli, and they're health food. They're not, it doesn't matter what they say. The dark chocolate, it doesn't taste good. It doesn't matter. You're not trying to eat Kit Kats and M&Ms. You're trying to eat healthy, and the cocoa is very healthy for you. And go eat your steaks and your pig, go eat your meat and your protein and your chicken and your salmon. Eat that. Eat as much of it as you want, and your little salads, and, eat that. That's what you want to eat. That's good for your body. The fat and the protein are good for it. And stop listening to the idiots going, you need to eat breakfast. You don't need to eat breakfast. It's the one meal you don't want to eat ever in life. It's terrible for you. You want to clean. Your function is the little guy cleans. That's what you want. And that's the whole point of it, right? You're trying to clean house to get healthy because you got bad shit in there because you had a sundae or a cupcake or a bagel, and you got all this bad shit in you. So you're trying to get rid of the bad shit. So your body cleans it, then you want to keep it clean. I just got to respond to my girl. So that's why you're doing. So in my mind, in my world, if you understand why you do things, then it makes it much easier and you learn from it. So when I pick a loser in football, I'm asking why. What happened? Oh, the quarterback threw 6 interceptions. Oh, okay. Well, why did they do that? Because they played a tough defense. Oh, so maybe I shouldn't bet a good a team against a good defense. And you see how it all leads together. So now when I see a really good defense, I don't fuck with it. And so I flopped to actually betting the defense as the reason I'm losing. If Oklahoma's playing Iowa State, I don't fuck with Iowa State. Before I would take Oklahoma and say, well, Iowa State's got no offense. Now I've turned it to take Iowa State because of that defense, but maybe bet the game under or play Iowa State. So it kind of A goes to B, goes to C, goes to D. So again, if I'm eating chocolate cake and bagels and pop and ice cream and sandwiches with a lot of bread, I get fat, heavy, and unhealthy, and my blood sugar goes high, my blood pressure goes high. So I bet if I don't eat that, so that's how when I went to the doctor, says you got high blood sugar. He says you got diabetes. I go, well, what's that? Well, that's high blood sugar. I said, well, can I reduce it? And he said, no, it's hereditary. And I go, no, type 1's hereditary, not type 2. And I said, so you're telling me I can raise my blood sugar, but I can't lower it? And so what did I do? I went on YouTube and I found Dr. Enberg, and he said, I can lower your insulin resistance, diabetes. And that's how you do it. You fast and you eat these foods and stay away from high fructose corn syrup, stay away from sugar, stay away from M&Ms. And guess what? I lost weight. My blood pressure's down. My blood sugar's down. So you ask the questions to get to the answer. That's the analytic part of what you need to do. And that's what I do with everything. So with gold and silver, that's going to go up in value. So it's all predicated on step A leads to step B to C, D, and E. Just a second. So anyway, that's how you do your thinking, right? You look at what's happening and then you try to you're solving the problem. So you figure out what's the problem. Oh, the problem's inflation. How do I solve it? Gold and silver. Check. Oh, I lost football. Why did I lose it? Because I bet against a strong defensive team. How do I solve it? Bet on the good defensive team. Check. And you just go right down. Oh, I'm this personality. Okay, great. I just want to stay in shape. I go to the pool. I hurt my feet. What happened? How do I solve it? My back's hurting me. How do I solve it? I'm eating communist in the hot tub. How do I solve it? And you just go on about it. Oh, Jenna's in the Ukraine. How do I solve the problem? Or, it's not always problems, but at the end of the day, you're just trying to be happy and healthy. And most of that comes from money, keeps us happy and healthy. So we want to be, we really want to be, how do we be happy and healthy? We got to have money. Money's freedom. That's why they're taking the money, is to keep our freedom away. We'll have to then be dependent on them. It's sort of like the golden handcuffs. So, this really hot girl marries this really rich guy who's older, who she doesn't really love, but she loves the money. So she feels I'll be free with the money, but he handcuffs you. Well, if you divorce me, you won't get the money. So you're with the guy for the money, not for the love, not for the guy. And that's the problem. So that's what they're trying to do is bankrupt everybody, and then you'll have to go to the government for money, and they'll take care of you and give you soup kitchens and all that shit. And then you won't be able to travel, and you won't be able to do a lot of the stuff. Good luck trying to golf and go to the football games and have fun, because go to the casinos because you won't have any money. And that's the problem that nobody realizes they're getting themselves into. So they're going to be golden handcuffed to the government, which is what they want. That's their whole plan. And so if we own gold and silver, we will not wear the handcuffs. We will benefit from the dollar collapsing because our gold and silver will go through the roof, and we'll be the ones holding the handcuffs. But we're not going to do it that way. We're going to take care of people and help them out. And that's what I do a lot of. Here's an ounce of silver. Here you go, to protect you. I've done that before. It was a girl's birthday. I was coming back from Alabama, and I was in Cincinnati at a Comfort Inn, and I'm doing, I'm just stopping after about 4 or 5 hours. So I went from Alabama through Tennessee, through Kentucky, and I just at the edge of Kentucky, and then I stop, and then I'm going to sleep and go to Michigan the next day. I might stay in Cincinnati 2 days or something. And so I meet this girl, and it's her birthday, and I like the girl. And so I gave her a birthday present. I gave her an ounce of silver for her birthday, and she loved it. She knew what it was. It's funny. They know what it is. They might not talk gold and silver, but when you give it to them, the light goes on. I says, I know it's only worth like $25 now, but it's going to go $2,000 an ounce. It's just going to take a little bit of time, but don't get rid of it. And they said, oh, I won't. I know what it is. And I said that the value is going to go huge on it. And so I gave her an ounce of silver as a present, and that's kind of my way of protecting. At least it gives her the idea maybe you need to buy silver for yourself. Here's one, and buy more. And my girlfriend I just talked to here, I when I was dating her, I gave her a 1/4 ounce of gold, and she still has it. And I says, it's going up. Just keep that in mind. Don't sell it yet. Don't lose it. It's worth a lot of money, and it's going to be worth a lot. So I'll be happier for the people that I helped out with the gold and silver when it really goes to the run out. When silver hits $2,000 an ounce, I'll be happy for the people I gave silver to, like Jenna, like the girl in Cincinnati, like my friend here, where they will be very happy when they're gone. Yeah, professor was right. And that's really being an INFJ without realizing it. That's really what, so that's really what you try to do, and then go through it. But again, it's because I can, and you go from here. How do I tournament the communist? Tournament the communist? How do I turn the communist? All right, Bobby, where are you going with that? How do you influence the communist? Change the communist, I assume. The problem with that, let's say you're trying to change the communist, like I'm trying to do. The problem with that is he's got to understand he's wrong and you're right. And the only way he's going to do that is when gold goes to 50,000 an ounce and silver to 2,000 or 3,000. Well, let's go with the 10-to-1, the 10,666. So times it by 5, puts you at 50,000, and let's say that's 700, puts it at 3,500. Then he'll see. He won't believe it because he's wasting his time reading Karl Marx. So there's not a lot you can do. You're really facing a brick wall. He's got to want to change. He's got to want to see he's wrong. It's sort of like an alcoholic or a drug addict. You really can't do it. You can say, alcohol's bad for you. It'll kill your liver and your kidneys and everything else. But there's nothing you can do with them. They have to see it. So that's part of the problem. Now you can say gold and silver, and I told him that. I says, well, the best thing you can do is get gold and silver. And he says, all that, well, if the dollar collapses, I'll just collapse with everybody else. What is that? That's not being an open-minded. He doesn't believe gold and silver. There's nothing I can do to change his mind. I brought it up. He could have said, well, how does it work? And I could have showed him the inflation and everything else and real assets. But the problem I see is like the guy I talked to last night who is in Bitcoin and blockchain and everything else. They don't even realize what gold and silver is. They've been brought up on blockchain and Bitcoin. So in their mind, gold and silver doesn't exist. They don't understand what inflation is. They think that it's money. Bitcoin is not money because it's not acceptable. I can't use it at the grocery store or at the barbecue place. I could give the guy silver at the barbecue place. He will take it. I cannot give him Bitcoin unless he takes it, which he doesn't. So it's not acceptable. If it's not acceptable, it's not money. You can use the debit card, but you got to actually have the card, and it's backed by money. So you can use the debit card, and that would take care of it. But that really is the point. So to turn a communist, I guess the only way is you would say to him, well, tell me, like, what's the good point of, like, all he said was that capitalism's bad because of class warfare. Well, that's not even an accurate comment. So now what do I do with him? He's already poo-pooing. He doesn't even understand what capitalism is or what communism is. How far back do I got to educate the guy? And he doesn't want to be educated. That's why he gets ignored, because there's no point in talking to the guy. What am I going to say? You're so you root for Joe Stalin? I mean, there's nothing you can really say to that, Bobby. So it all depends on, put it like this. It's like telling a guy who smokes to quit smoking because it's poisoning his lungs and he's going to get cancer and die. Now, we all know he's going to get cancer and die. We all know he's poisoning his lungs. But if he doesn't want to stop smoking, he's not going to stop smoking. There's nothing we can say. There's no clever way of pointing it out to him that he shouldn't be smoking, right? So how do I change it? And then the difference is I'm just saying go into gold and silver. Like, you need money, and gold and silver is the only money that's actually going to survive, because it's not a fiat currency. It's not printed to death. It's actual money. It's gold and silver. That's all you can do to explain it. And at the end of the day, you just say, well, fuck it. I'm going to go buy another 20 ounces of silver, and that's all I can do. I don't know. What am I going to do? There's nothing I can do. So that's really what you're ending up with. You can try, and it's frustrating. Like, I get frustrated a lot because I know the only survival is gold and silver. There's no other money to go into, and Bitcoin's not money. And I say, well, you can get diamonds, you can get Mickey Mantle cards, but basically you want gold and silver. And there's really nothing I can say or do that, besides saying that and saying the dollars are worthless because they're printed and they're all fiat, they're all backed by nothing, and they're all losing value. And the only thing I can do is say, well, gold was 35 an ounce. It's now 2,000. And it's still an ounce of gold. The only problem is the dollar has devalued. That's how you can show the dollar devalued. And if they don't get it, they're just too stupid to understand, or they're closed-minded, or their own ego won't allow them to admit they're wrong. As we've talked, I mean, it's very hard to figure out where they got these ideas and then how to convince them the ideas are wrong, because then they'll have to admit they're wrong, which they don't want to do. So it becomes a very cloudy issue of what's right and wrong and really what to do with them. Anyway, it's 4:15. I think I am going to have a quick snack and go to the club and then come back and watch some some YouTube, see what's going on in the world. Let's take a quick look at gold. Gold price today. Looks like it was up about $10. So it went up to 1826, which is totally meaningless, as we know. Now at 9:30, it was down. So this is one of those unique days where at 9:30 it's down, and then it goes up. It never dips at 10 o'clock. So maybe that's a signal. I don't know. And then U.S. Silver. Silver's still $20.90, so you can still get it probably $24, $25. But again, it's meaningless. The only reason we look at it is for us, so we can buy it cheap because we're going to buy. So we go to the store and it's $20, $21. We know, well, $24, $25. I can go buy another 20 ounces, and so it makes me keep buying it. And at the point I'm at, I don't know what enough is. I might end up with a ton of silver, which would be 32,000 ounces. It keeps waiting for us, and we keep buying more and more and more because it's the price. It's a very cheap price, and we know that. So that's about all I can say for that. It's incredibly cheap, and and again, we know it's fake. So when I look at it, I know it's fake. I just want to see what's going on there. Then if we look at the Dow, this is not fake. It's down. It's 32,000 down to 32. And FX rates. Let's see what my ruple's doing. That's 75. So when I gave my gal money today for food, so she gets a lot more, but she says it's really terrible in Russia. The prices are just through the roof and everything. So it's hard for her. It doesn't make that much money, and her prices are up. So I says, just if you can wait for gold. And so I got to give her enough so she can eat with, but by being able to buy more taxes and buy more of that. Now here's an interesting Free Tax USA is who I use to do my taxes. Your tax refund is waiting for you. Now, let's talk about tax refund. What do you think a tax refund is? What do you think a tax refund is? Because there's no such thing. It doesn't exist. There is no tax refund. Put it simply, if you got your utility bill for your heat and it's $50 and you pay them $500, is that a refund? Or did you, for some reason, overpay them and then you're bitching to get a cut, right? So when you overpay your taxes, it's the same thing. You paid them $5,000 and you owed $3,000 and you get a refund of $2,000. It's not a refund. You overpaid them. You gave the government $1,000 or $2,000, whatever this refund is. You overpaid your taxes. Shame on you for giving the government a free loan. They don't give you back 15% on it. So how in the world is it a refund? What kind of refund is it? It's not a refund. You overpaid. It's not a refund. So I really get sick when I hear this refund. It's not a refund. You're not being refunded. It's not like you paid $1,000 in tax and you owed $1,000 and now they're giving you back 500 saying, we're going to refund 500 of your tax dollars. No, you only owed 500. You paid 1,000. So you overpaid and we're giving you your overpayment back. But look how they want to do it. They want to be deceitful and say, oh, it's a refund. We're going to refund you your overpayment, but we're going to make you wait till April when you file your tax return to give you back the money you gave us in January, February, March last year. So we've been holding your money for a year. We're not going to give you interest on it, and we're going to call it a refund, not an overpayment. This is your government at work. Why are there even taxes? It's not legal. Why is there a Federal Reserve? Why are there banks? Why is there this, that, and the other? It's all a scam. I mean, the whole thing's just fucking scam, Ponzi scheme. That's why when Madoff has his Ponzi scheme, you're like, you're mad. Well, how come you're not mad when the government steals your money? How come nobody's mad that the government is taking the value of this away, making things more expensive, virtually a Ponzi scheme, because they're giving you this and then it's worth less and less. How come nobody's upset about that? Why does nobody get up? And not only that, they don't even understand what inflation is. It's a price increase. No, it's not a price increase. You're fucking the dollars. That is horrible. That's total mismanagement. You all should go to prison for doing that. And what do? They go, well, it's a price increase. Prices have gone up. That's the inflation. Is the Coca-Cola is now $4, not $3. That's not inflation. And who caused that? See, they don't get to the cause. Well, we printed too much money. We caused it. You think they're going to admit that? So they don't even tell you that's overprinting. They tell you it's, well, look, it's the evil Oreo cookies. The price is up. It's evil Coca-Cola. It's evil Ford, Toyota. They raised their prices, those evil people. And then they blame everybody else like they blame Putin for it. Well, it's Putin's fault. It's supply chain. Because of the supply chain, they raise prices. And it's Putin. It's the war. Because of the war, the prices went up. No. See, they'll use every excuse in the book, but the real one, which is we printed money to death so we could steal it. And basically it's worth less. And the guy at the bank kept saying that we're taxing you. It's a tax. We're taxing you. That's what the inflation is a tax. And I kept looking at him like, what are you talking about? It is a tax, but it's you're printing it. And it's just so many people are so stupid. And it's that they believe what they want to believe because somebody told them. They don't counter the somebody. So if I tell you about Austrian economics and you believe it, and then you hear a Keynesian and you go, no, Howard said it's Austrian. You got to at least know there's two different ones. Then you can see the difference. And then the Keynesian guy's wrong or the MMT guy, and I'm right. But if you're listen to the Keynesian or the MMT guy, you think he's right. And then when you hear me, you think I'm wrong. So you've got to be able to counter both teams and understand there's two different sides. And then you got to understand that the Austrians are correct. The Keynesians are big government, want you to believe it's not the government who's doing this to you. We sit there going, hey, it's the government that's printing too much money that's doing it. But you've already been poisoned by the Keynesians, so you can't believe that. That's why I tell you to listen to both sides. But you've got to understand and listen, and does it make sense? And then you'll figure it out and you'll know without being told. So when I go to the bank and he says, oh, this is about we're just taxing you or something. And I'm like, no, that's not what it is. I mean, it is indirectly, but really you're printing the money to zero. Like, why would I be in an annuity at 9% when the money's going to crash? Oh, you can get 9%. Yeah, well, Madoff said I can get 15. And how did that end up? So you've got to be smart. and listen and prudent. Now, maybe because I'm an INFJ, it comes to me very easily. But then when I'm teaching you, if it doesn't make sense to you, then you need to ask me. That's why we have the comments. I don't get it. Then you can understand it. But once you understand it, you run in by gold and silver because you understand that I'm fucked. I've been fucked by the government. All right, it's been 4 hours. That's plenty of time. So have a nice day, everybody. Good luck. I wish everybody a happy, healthy day. Take care. Go buy your silver at $20.90 if you can find it. And enjoy yourself. Okay, everybody. Take care. www.teaserking.com. All right, I'm going to go eat.